So, good morning once again. How are we feeling today? Friday, finally, TGIF. I'm very, very happy to be here on the stage with you. And I'm also very happy to be moderating this startup stage for you at the LifeScience Open Space 2023, because actually this is the most exciting part, just to see startups and new inventions becoming potential actually companies, because startups are something different. I'll be just explaining you how to actually proceed with that. My name is Formanek. I'm actually a program manager at one of the startup incubators in Berlin at the Berlin University of Applied Sciences. Today, I will be moderating this stage for you together with Jakub Chwiecko, who's on his way. We decided to split this in two parts. I'll be moderating the first part until the break, and he's going to be moderating the second part. And upon that, we're going to have a great panel discussion involving all the speakers as well. So, yeah, I'll just show to you, I'll put up a timer because I've got this tendency of speaking too much. So let's actually keep some time frames. And today, yes, exactly, as we've heard for the last actually one day, but today is the second day, a lot of our keynote speakers and presentation abstracts were exactly speaking some words which I was about to say, and I'm just very thankful for them, about the cooperation, about actually how to get the talent, about the reproducibility of your actual research outcomes. So today I would like to show you how to actually unleash cooperation in the health and life science between Berlin, which is the closest, biggest hub in this area, and Krakow area, because we should be actually not competing with each other, but actually are cooperating. So shortly about myself, how did I end up here? So I'm very happy to be here after 6 years at the Krakow Technology Park. First time here, I was in actually December 2015, which was a greenfield investment, and it was the only building here around. And I got to know the director of Krakow Technology Park, and at that time we've listened actually about what's the plan about the life science park coming up here, and about actually all the investments coming. And 5, 6, 7 years later, I'm actually here, and I must say, wow, this is something which is actually extremely important for all these actually researchers to get the proper actually infrastructure and create the proper place which are integrating facilitators, networkers, research labs, but also venture capital builders, venture capital investors, and everything about it. So my job previously was actually in the Klaster of digital technologies of Berlin, and I was doing the business matching with Berlin companies, with actually Polish companies. So it was organized the first time the business speed dating here. Up in that, I was actually a co-founder of two health tech startups. One of them has Polish roots, it's Naczelna. The second one is actually oriented on 3D printing, but is actually also doing 3D printing for medical devices. We for all the platform, so just have a look. I was also organizing for 3 years the Polish Tech Night in Berlin, where we were taking between 2016 and 2018 actually Polish startups to Germany to get investments, to show them exactly something what was missing in Poland at that time, like bigger rounds of capital and investments. So we managed to actually introduce to the German market such a very relevant startups like Informatica from Poland and so on from Krakow. Early, your amazing startup which is actually monitoring the air quality. I've been also a startup mentor for different actually startup programs from the European Union, and at the moment I'm just currently working at the Berlin University of Applied Sciences PhD Startup Hub. So I would like to start with a question. Who of you is working for a startup or thinking about startup? One? Just one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's better. We're going to improve this quarter today by giving you some insights. And you know, just as Eric Ries in his excellent book in 2008 back wrote about entrepreneurship, that startups are actually human organizations trying to develop products and services in conditions of absolute uncertainty. And this absolute uncertainty, like what is he talking about? We're just researchers. We are here just actually in lab conditions. We're developing a lot of stuff. That's actually not true, guys. Life science, biotech, health startups are actually facing even more risks and uncertainty, because actually being used to the research frameworks which you're developing, you as startups in this area are facing additional risks. These ones are regulatory hurdles, and these ones are also lengthy and costly research and development processes, because this financial runway can extend to many, many more months than you plan, and actually to many more years. There's also uncertainty about obtaining patents and certifications and actually receiving and reproducing the exactly same results. So market adoption can be slow. Sales process and the pipelines are even longer, and this is something which you never take into consideration, because we've got actually these conservative industry partners outside there, and public perception of what you're doing might be actually affecting the trust of your investors and also of your consumers. Exactly when we come into the part of clinical trials, and we're just talking about animals, and we're just talking about actually different parts, what's going to be tested. So technical challenges are also just something what you have to take into consideration. As said, reproducibility, data integrity, and interoperability also pose an extreme risk. So the biggest challenges are said, regulatory environment. We are in the EU, and despite of the EU actually coordinating a lot of actually the regulatory for us on an international level, there is also 27 other entities which impose the same actually jurisdictions as Poland does, or even more bureaucracy, like in Germany where I'm living. Talent acquisition, we all know that we actually are like undergoing a demographic bump in Germany, and in Poland as well, in Europe. Actually our societies are getting older, and just in order to get the actually new talent, we have to acquire them from abroad. We are competing here. We're competing with the United States. We're competing actually with Southeast Asia. We're competing with a lot of partners there who give actually more attractive money, like United Arab Emirates and emerging markets there. And like, you are the talents here. It's like, this is something which you have to consider. You are really the best talents on the market. People who are going in something which is extremely important. Mints and life sciences. This is the future. Without this actually skills, our societies won't move to the next level. Data management and government. I was really proud to hear yesterday from many people about that in the future the patient is going to be actually the owner of the data here, because we are just switching from this actually medical approach of hospitals owning, or actually clinical universities owning the data, to actually to this patient-centric approach and data governance. You know what? After 20 years in Germany, I can say I hear completely different stories in Germany. It's always Datenschutz, data protection, GDPR, and just like really afraid of keeping this data, or just actually getting the consent from the patients about it. This is something what they're really scared of. So this is one of the biggest challenges, actually just to be compliant with your rules, but at the same time, just give the patients the access to the data and like actually create data bank sets that are gonna be useful for your research. Digital capabilities. Let's be honest, all of our actual universities and hospitals and medical services, if they're state and publicly funded, they have some outdated infrastructure out there. They have also some data legacy. In Germany, some of them are running on systems from the 70s and the 80s. And what are you facing are the challenges of actual interoperability and integration systems. And also lack of digital skills. Let's be honest, at a certain age, some people just don't like to learn many things, and like, you know, just this undergoing revolution of digital skills. Not many people like in actually a health sector who are just constantly exposed to a lot of stress factors. They do not have the time and maybe the energy to learn new digital skills, which could be actually very helpful for the patients and also for the development of new solutions for the patients. Well, and there is also like a bigger scale of challenges for macroeconomic situations. Like, let's say, an example in Germany, we actually hit the public debt limits set by the constitution. Also, like the macroeconomic situation which we're undergoing after the pandemics, also influenced by the war in the Middle East, in Ukraine. Also, supply chain disruptions which we have seen during the pandemics, and all the medical devices which could be delivered at that time, but they have not been delivered because of actually the restrictions were imposed. And of course, lack of purpose-built real estate. This was something what I was saying about. So once again, congratulations for developing this excellent area, which is dedicated to actually develop the science of the future. This is actually a study what Ernst and Young analysts and consultants developed in the last years, that the lack of understanding of local environments remains one of the most significant challenges facing life science companies operating within Europe. And all these factors I was mentioning you before can lead to delays to regulatory approval, to market access, and ultimately they can actually really impact something what's the most crucial for startups. This is your financial performance and your financial runway. So therefore, I'm here today to explain you what's the most important part, and this is actually, the name of this game is called cooperation. It takes two, because with these great ideas within your teams, when you're coming out of your lab, or actually out of university, out of your health institution, or maybe out of a business and you're looking for researchers, you have to start at a certain point. And as you actually, by understanding local regulations, identifying the top talent who actually might participate in your team, and investing in data management, startups from the area of bio, life sciences and health can establish successful actually affairs within Europe. And here's actually, I wanted to show you where to start if certain actually options can be limited, for example here. So don't take it as a competitor situation. Take it always as an opportunity to start actually your second option for early stage startups. So today I will show you two examples of how to start a startup early stage if, for example, financial options will be limited here in Krakow, and then you can actually expand to Berlin, find the partners, and then come back with your investment here. So Berlin is the place to be for health and life sciences in Germany and in Europe, actually. And I got some information with the help of my colleagues from Health Capital in Berlin-Brandenburg. There is certain excellence in science in Berlin. Let's talk a bit about boring statistics, about some numbers. With 4 universities, 7 universities of applied sciences, one of them which I represent, and actually 4 Academy of Arts and 30 plus state recognized actually technological colleges. We have 170,000 plus students. We have a diversity of expertise in bio-life sciences and health tech. We've got the biggest European hospital, which is actually conducting clinical studies and actually research, which is the Charité, actually combined from the 2 campuses in the former West Berlin of Benjamin Franklin campus and Virchow Klinikum, and actually the central place which has been created in the 18th century, and over 30,000 employees actually working in this area. But what's making Berlin very specific about it is this extramural expertise, because we have also additionally 5 institutes of Max Planck Gesellschaft. We got 4 actually additional institutes of Fraunhofer family institutes, and 12 institutes of Leibniz institutes, and approximately 70 plus more institutes actually dedicated to research, certification, and actually non-certifications. You know, what's the interesting part is like a cutting-edge research society and atmosphere which has been strongly subsidized in the times of West Berlin, and it has been actually extended in the last years. And the good part is it attracts people from all over the world. So you know, what's happening when actually there's this pot of people coming from all over the world with different ideas and getting to this research institutes, there is this excellent situation to have a case to develop research. So it's like it can be a random fact, but also the extension of that is during these private conversations, this networking part, and just talking about ideas, because these ideas comes in your brain and from talking to other experts about it. That's why internationally renowned healthcare education and actually life science brings these experts and your brains together and together. So we are one puzzle of this, one piece of this puzzle work. And our university, formerly known as Beuth Hochschule für Technik, now it's called Berliner Hochschule für Technik, has actually the competence domain of the resilient city of the future, with actually over 13,000 students and over 1,700 academic staff, also international ones. We have very strong background in life sciences, but also additionally medical engineering and medical devices, but on top of that also everything was about food technology, about food packaging, and also what's actually requiring for urban challenges, because we have a big faculty of civil engineering, architecture, and urban landscaping. So what we do at my startup, we help people with such great startup ideas like you here to maybe start your journey as future founders. We give you consultations, co-working spaces, mentoring network, and team building activities. But what's most important, we give you actually funding. Money is the key. And you know what's most important? This is actually publicly funded money, subsidized by the government of Berlin and also by the European Social Fund. There is 3 different programs running. Berliner Startup Stipendium is the most actually renowned one. It's actually based on the team. It's not a company-oriented funding. It's equity-free. We support teams of 3 or 4 people with 2,200 euros per person per month, up to 12 months. So you can calculate we can actually reach 100,000 euros equity-free. You got additional coaching budget. Oh, I'm just separated with 15 minutes, but I'm just going to be shortly over. And then you get additional mentoring network, access to the labs, co-working space, and of course some good programs and business tools which are going to prepare you to create your first financial round, maybe with business angels or maybe with venture capitals on top of that. We're not the only incubator which is actually doing that. Our university was the pioneer, creating that with the Berlin Startup Stipendium with other universities in Berlin. Other incubators which I can strongly recommend to you in Berlin, and they're actually focused on health and life sciences, are Vista Adlershof Gründerwerkstatt, which is actually your bigger sister of Krakow LifeScience Klaster and Krakow Technology Park. This is the Adlershof Technology Park, which was created actually over 30 years ago in the south of Berlin, and everybody was laughing at that because they said there's going to be no success. Actually, at the moment, it's the biggest campus in Europe dedicated to life sciences, and actually companies starting up there. There's no more space to build it up, so I think the future is bright for you here. Then there is the renowned Vision Health Pioneers, which we're actually very good friends. So if you some startups today from that incubator are going to be pitched, I'm very happy that that is over here. Also the 2 other partner universities of us, HTW Startup and HWR with HTW Startup Incubator, Startup Incubator Berlin. Also the actually University Alliances of Technische Universität, Humboldt University and Free University of Startups and Science, Berlin Innovation Agency with a climate tech focus and applied data incubator, and the most renowned one actually BH Digital Health Accelerator at Charity, which is having some additional conditions we might be discussing, but maybe in our networking area. So what makes Berlin so special is actually exactly this environment network I was mentioning to you, and relatively high life standards, because still a green city, you're in the middle of Europe, you're close to Poland, you don't have to say goodbye to your family and move to Boston. You can actually just start a very good life as a researcher, not speaking German. Let's talk about what industries can be relevant for you when you're setting up your business. Actually, the Klaster Gesundheitswirtschaft, so actually health industries and economics, are employing in Berlin already 420,000 people, which is a significant number, with 22,000 companies and about 34 billion of euros revenue last year. In sectors, which the biggest one is medtech and digital health, with 356 companies employing almost 1,500 actually employees. The other important ones are biotech companies and Formanek. Can relate exactly just to the KEYNOTE KEYNOTE, which was opening from CureVac, like these other companies open up their subsidiaries also in Berlin. And for example, BioNTech has a big office because BioNTech was just a startup from Mainz, which actually scaled up from 300 people to 5,000 people with one big actually brand in Berlin. I'm finishing. I am just actually to speed up. So what's also important is drug development, cell and gene therapies, medtech, digital health. This actually paper is for you there. I created links so you can see which were the most relevant, most successful startups in the last year. And the startup innovation ecosystem also is also very relevant because of the certain numbers. We've got venture capitals investing to you. So we've got 22 unicorns we reached last year, and actually 4.9 billion euros were invested last year in Berlin startups. Why don't you be one of them with actually your knowledge and with your talent? I'm actually disappointed with the top 4 sectors verticals of investment. There's still like mobility, but okay, that's important. E-commerce, I don't really agree with that. There should be actually medtech, life science should actually be in the top 5 on top of it. Thank you to Berlin Partner and the Klaster for this information providing you. The financing options are classical ones like business angel tickets, maybe VC operating. We've got a lot of them which are dedicated to health, a little bit less if it's about life sciences. It's early bird, venture capital, Target Global, Hill Capital, Cherry Ventures. Now we've got a very good cooperation with Business Angel Club Berlin-Brandenburg, and there is approximately 81 accelerators to different stuff, so all of you are going to find the right path. Public funding is provided specifically for life science, and there's great actually programs like innovation assistance, maybe the transfer bonus, funding bonus if you decide to found a company in Germany, and also the network of investments from the federal government combined with the investment bank of Berlin called Profit and GRV. Opportunities meet and mingle. So last to finish, the last 2 slides is like just come to Berlin because opportunities and networking is the key. I know we like to research in the labs and just be focused on our results, but you have to speak to people. And actually, if you plan to come on a monthly basis, there's the health IT talk connecting the health IT directors of the departments with actually everything what's related to technology. That's a monthly meetup I've been organizing for 5 years. There's a monthly digital health cocktail hour at Campus AI. Extremely nice with good network. There's some big partners, big names behind it, but the atmosphere is great speakers, and you might find directly investors and like same-minded people just to find out your startup. Quarterly DUCA Forum, the Digital Urban Center for Aging and Health. Excellent part because they got all the access to nurturing organizations and all the hospitals in Germany. The yearly event Barcamp Health IT, connecting everything what's relevant for hospitals and patients, every year organizing one of the biggest hospitals within Berlin. Then the every year big Biennale, every year DEMEA, which is actually the big fair show connecting digital health, and also every year medical device days at Jona Institute. This year we had a very successful year also with big healthcare conferences, DTX Europe, which is taking place next week, and also in 2 weeks the AM Medical Days. Plus with Business Angel Club Berlin and other investors, we created this year the first actually successful Healthcare Innovators Bridge Berlin. If you don't like Berlin, I don't mind. You can go outside of this map, which is actually on Deal Room. You can see whatever is happening there, and also get the information from Fact Sheet and Life Sciences reports. I listed that all of you, so you can click, actually subscribe to newsletters. And I said, thank you very much to Health Capital for providing me with the information. And I said, if you don't like Berlin, there is plenty of options outside of Berlin, exactly as CureVac was saying the keynote in Tübingen, one of the best incubators. They're actually starting from life science and health tech. They actually spread a little bit from Hessen and Niedersachsen, which is Göttingen, Heidelberg, with very famous university academic centers, up to actually the most famous ones, which is the 5HT Digital Hub Chemistry and Health Klaster in Mannheim, Ludwigshafen. And if you decide to actually step in Germany and like develop your company on both sides here in Krakow and Germany, one day when you're successful, you can actually step forward and use German accelerator programs to move actually hit up Boston and Southeast Asia and Singapore. And they're just providing you financing with that. Finishing that, this is how you can reach us. I'm gonna be here the entire day and moderating this thing, and I'm very excited. Jakub is also here just to be actually welcoming the first startups today on the stage. So thank you very much for this presentation, and I would like maybe to welcome already the first startup on the stage, who's going to be from Sana, from SNeuronEye. Ah, there you are, and it's actually Adrian, exactly.
Yes.
Welcome on the stage, Adrian. How are you today?
I'm great, thanks.
Excellent. So you're going to be talking about SNeuronEye, that project, what you're doing at Sana, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, we'll listen to that. So a very warm welcome to Adrian. Clicker. And let's switch directly maybe to a presentation of SNeuronEye. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I am a researcher in neuroimaging at SNeuronEye, and together with Monica, which is a PhD student with whom I work, we were thinking of a startup idea that addresses the needs of radiologists. This is the world map of the number of radiologists across the world, and what we can see in Europe is that Poland and England stand out as having lower number of radiologists per 1 million inhabitants. We have increased demand across the world for radiologists that can analyze more scans because there are also more MRIs. In the past 20 years, but however, the number of radiologists remain relatively constant. So this can create significant burnout across radiologists, and around half of them are suffering burnout. This is especially prominent across females because they also have more responsibilities than males in general. So fundamental needs for the healthcare sector in radiology includes high need for accurate and precise diagnostic tools, and that can provide speedy diagnosis and speedy recognition of lesions in the brain. And also, it's important to reduce burnout among the personnel because this way the accuracy can go higher and they can focus more on the patients. So we were thinking at the possibility of developing an AI-based reporting system that can assist radiologists in their work and in analyzing scan and reporting their findings. This could be a tool that can work based on a subscription, either per year or per month, where hospitals can buy it for their radiologists. However, there's also the possibility of paying per scan that is being analyzed or partnering with vendors of MRI machines. Our market in Poland would include mostly hospitals, but however, we are better off probably starting with medical universities and trying to introduce such a tool among students to try to create trust in a future market rather than going direct to the hospitals. We have around 1,200 hospitals in Poland, and we have around a quarter of radiologists doing brain imaging. In the past 20 years, in Poland, there has been a steady increase in the number of MRI scanners, and it's probably going to continue in the same fashion. So our value propositions is to minimize the effort spent with manual tasks and with administrative tasks, and reduce the expenses with overtime working for radiology and outsourcing costs. The product, therefore, would be an AI-based decision support system that can detect, classify, and segment brain lesions, and generate a written report with all the data it can extract from the scan. And this would only be for MRI scans. The MVP would be a software educational tool that is first introduced in universities for students that already has scans with examples of lesions and of reports. However, the final market product might be introduced in hospitals or even to radiologists directly, and would include glioma subtyping and a chatbot that can answer different questions about scans and can produce modifications in the report. The product might look something like this. You have the MRI image where brain lesions are highlighted, and the report is written where radiologists can modify and verify the findings of the AI-based system. So the competitive advantages that we have include our experience with combining data sets and working with MRI data sets, which can help us build a unique data set for the training. The idea of creating a community of early adopters among the students, and help from the academic environment with from some of the best experts in radiology worldwide. So our impact objectives are to increase accuracy of the diagnostic of brain lesions and reduce the time for repetitive tasks to obtain more time for patient care. And also this tool can contribute to education in radiology. In general, there are already tools that do similar procedures. However, classification of brain tumors and detection of the range of intracranial region is not very common, and we might have, like, we could stand out with a tool that also does these tasks. Also, there are very few that actually focus on MRI imaging. The spendings for the first year could be around 200,000 euros, and however, the profit from the market share would be significant afterwards. And this is the team, and we are mostly a scientist and focus on science. So important objective would be to obtain quantitative evidence of the reliability of this tool, and we can do so by collaborating with universities and also introduce the tool at the same time. And we would like in the first 1.5 years to introduce it, and then try to enter in contact with manufacturers and see if they are interested in adopting such a tool. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adrian. Very nice. No, keep. We have questions. University?
No, but we are in contact with universities by default, because we are scientists.
Because I know two solutions also from Berlin, from Charité, from actually one of them is Cure AI, I think. Exactly. Yes. And yeah, it's always the interoperability part about MRIs and different systems being used. How are you going to approach that part?
Can you repeat the question?
Always the big issues, the interoperability.
Interoperability?
Yes, of your solution with different MRI systems and actually the data systems which are operating with the pictures being provided to different departments in the hospitals. How are you going to approach this?
You can harmonize the images when they come in. I worked on multi-site harmonization. When you combine images from different sites, from different scanners, you can try and find a common mean across them, and the methods that are existing are quite efficient in uniformizing the scans.
Okay. Any questions from our audience? There you go.
Thanks. You said that you have an existing data set for your machine learning algorithms, and that it's your unique part of your startup that you are crafting it by yourself. So how large is your current data set? That's my first question. I have two.
So we plan to collect data sets not only from the ones that are available on the internet. UK Biobank is a great source, and but also ask from the hospitals. So by starting collaborating with some hospitals, they can provide their scans to complement the UK Biobank.
Okay, and the current size of this?
I think it was 50,000.
Okay, thanks. And regarding my second question, it's about regulatory part, because, well, I do not know how far are you right now, but, well, you will probably need to certify your software, and that's something which will require, well, a lot of time, and I'm curious, how far are you with the MDR, probably MDR regulatory, or maybe FDA?
This is a good question. So this is why we plan to introduce this. Also, another reason why we plan to introduce it first in universities, because this way it can be an educational tool and not require so much bureaucracy for this.
Clever, I get it.
It's a good path. Okay, thank you very much, Adrian. And let's, oh, I'm speaking double now, so it's 2 microphones is bad. All right, let's welcome our next speaker on the stage, Karolina Ruszczyk from WellMate. Karolina, is she here? Nope. Okay. Something happened to her, so, all right. So maybe we can actually, maybe she's gonna be a bit later. So let's move to our next speaker then, instead of Karolina. That's gonna be the Akademia Wychowania Fizycznego, the actually Physical Education Academy of Krakow, with the project of Andrzej Ostrowski. A very warm welcome, Andrzej, on the stage, presenting now how the Venflon protective set can be actually an invention for the patients. Welcome.
Dzień dobry Państwu. Ja nie jestem z branży medycznej, jak widać, ale jestem pacjentem, więc występuję też z pozycji pacjenta. W związku z powyższym chciałem Państwa zainteresować zestawem ochronnym Venflonu, na który uzyskałem patent na wynalazek. Co to jest Venflon, to może Państwu nie będę tłumaczył, bo na pewno z Państwa większość się zajmuje tym na co dzień, więc dalej. Problem polega na tym, że Venflon jest wbijany w różne części ciała i jest przetrzymywany w sumie do 3 dób. W związku z powyższym pacjent musi z tym Venflonem żyć przez ten okres. Oczywiście są różne sposoby jego zabezpieczenia, poprzez bandaże najczęściej, ale to nie chroni tej części ciała przed urazami. Oczywiście ja doświadczyłem tego Venflonu, dlatego się tym zainteresowałem. Znalazłem tam różne rozwiązania, które są na stronach urzędów patentowych, między innymi taki. Są też inne, ale nie miały grafiki, do Polski nawet. I o co mi chodziło? Żeby ten ochraniacz Venflonu był w miarę zbliżony do tych Venflonów i tych plastrów, jakie są do tej pory. To znaczy, żeby trzymał się skóry, żeby wyeliminował właśnie niezamierzone przesunięcie się kaniuli w żyle, żeby można było obserwować pole w okolicy wbicia kaniuli, żeby był łatwy dostęp do głowic w celu podania lekarstw, no żeby to było sterylne, czyli nie powodowało jakichś stanów zapalnych, żeby łatwo się dało zakładać i ściągać, no i oczywiście, żeby koszty były jak najniższe, a przede wszystkim, żeby pacjent nie przebywał przez te 3 dni w szpitalu z całym czasem z trwogą, że będzie go bolało, jak sobie tam gdzieś zawadzi. Patentowanie, no oczywiście to mi zeszło parę chwil, póki złożyłem ten wniosek, ale jak tutaj widać na tym slajdzie, droga patentowania przebiegła zdecydowanie szybko. Najczęściej trwa to od 2 do 5 lat, a mi okazało się, że trwało to 10 miesięcy. Także droga postępowania patentowego była wyjątkowo szybka. Nie wiem, z czego to wynika, tak jakoś wyszło. Co wchodzi w skład tego wynalazku, tego zestawu ochronnego Venflonu? Klaster mocujący Venflon, płytka ochronna Venflonu, no i oczywiście całość musi być sterylnie zapakowana. Plaster ochronny Venflonu, jak już wcześniej wspomniałem, powinien być taki, jak do tej pory stosowany, bo to jest po prostu jakaś tradycja, jakieś doświadczenia, z odpowiednim klejem, ale na powierzchni zewnętrznej musi mieć coś, gdzie można zaczepić kopułę, czyli ten ochraniacz. Dlatego do plastra należy tam poprzez odpowiednie, powiedzmy, silikony dolepić takie prowadnice, zaczepy, żeby można było tę kopułę założyć. I tak wygląda mniej więcej ten plaster, który ma w tym kolorze 3 właśnie te prowadnice do zaczepienia i on w sumie jest w kształcie i wielkości podobnych do obecnie stosowanych. Najistotniejsza jest ta płytka ochronna Venflonu. Ja tam próbowałem różne wersje, co by można było założyć, ale okazało się, że plastik, który się wygnie, przyjmuje, po prostu usztywnia się, przez to stanowi wystarczającą ochronę tego Venflonu. To jest płytka, która jest przed zgięciem, natomiast kiedy to jest opakowanie, natomiast kiedy się wygnie tą płytkę, tak na prawej stronie widać, to ona stanowi ochronę. To są moje próby i tak to mniej więcej by wyglądało. W założeniu, co daje ten zestaw ochronny? No przede wszystkim zabezpiecza skutecznie w płaszczyźnie pionowej, wzdłużnej i poprzecznej, bo wiemy, że Venflon wprowadza się nie tylko na płaskich powierzchniach, ale również na powierzchniach, powiedzmy, które ulegają ruszaniu, zwłaszcza w okolicach łokcia. Więc w związku z powyższym ta ochrona może być albo sztywna w wyniku płaskich powierzchni, może też być garbowana. Taką wersję też zastosowałem. Żeby łatwiej było zakładać, ściągać, można wprowadzić kolory krawędzi. Można też dostosować wielkości, jeśli chodzi o wymiary. I może być skutecznie przez to zakładany przez służby obsługujące pacjentów w szpitalu wielokrotnie poprzez ściągnięcie, ale wtedy jest problem sterylności, natomiast można ten Venflon przesunąć, powiedzmy, w szynach, kiedy on nie odsuwa się od miejsca założenia i w związku z powyższym jest w pewnym sensie jakby chroniony przed bakteriami i innymi zakażeniami. Także, jak Państwo widzicie, proste rozwiązanie może służyć wielu ludziom, zwłaszcza myśląc w kategoriach bólu, myśląc w kategoriach tego nastawienia psychicznego, że mogę się uszkodzić. Szczególnie dotyczy to w czasie czynności w sanitariatach, w czasie snu, w czasie ubierania i zdejmowania odzieży. W związku z powyższym, jak już Państwu powiedziałem, otrzymałem na to patent na wynalazek, no i oczywiście, by służyć, no powiedzmy, swoim postępowaniem, chciałbym to dalej kontynuować poprzez sprzedaż patentu lub licencji, lub podjęcie współpracy z kimś, kto by był zainteresowany takimi czynnościami. Oczywiście to jeszcze wymaga wiele pracy, zwłaszcza jeśli chodzi o materiały. Wymaga to wielu testów ciekawe jest to, że testy można prowadzić na ludziach zdrowych. Po prostu każdemu można założyć i można sobie chodzić 3 dni do szkoły na tej zasadzie. W związku z powyższym to tyle, jeśli chodzi o moje wystąpienie. Tu są moje dane, jeśli by kogoś interesowały. I dziękuję.
Bardzo dziękujemy. Czy są jakieś pytania z publiczności? Już podaję.
Tak, na wstępie bardzo podziękuję za ochronę tego psychicznego komfortu pacjentów. Sam również korzystałem z Venflonów i zapytam, bo tego nie było widać na zdjęciach, jak jest z obserwowalnością tego Venflonu? On jest przeźroczysty?
Tak, on jest przeźroczysty w części górnej i dlatego można obserwować pole całego pola w okolicy wbicia igły Venflonu. Natomiast jeśli będzie w wersji tej garbowanej, to jest problem załamania tam, powiedzmy, ale też przewidziana jest wersja przeźroczysta. Natomiast, żeby krawędzie się dobrze zaczepiały, które nie mają znaczenia w obserwacji, mogą być koloru innego, by łatwo było widzieć, jak to wygląda.
Jeszcze jakieś pytanie mamy z publiczności? Bardzo cieszy mnie takie rozwiązania i patenty, innowacje, ponieważ rzeczywiście ból to jest temat bardzo rozpowszechniony przede wszystkim w szpitalach, też w ośrodkach opieki i pomocy społecznej. Bardzo dziękujemy za wystąpienie. Czy pojawiła się już Karolina Ruszczyk? Do we have Karolina Ruszczyk on the stage? Yes? Or not? No, she's not here. Okay, so let's move to our next presentation, which is going to be actually presented by Michał Dymek from Politechnika Krakowska about peptide-loaded liposomal systems as bioactive components for cosmetic applications. Welcome on the stage, a very warm welcome. Michał.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Yes, today I would like to show you the opportunity to use liposomes as the carriers of hydrophilic peptides for cosmetic application. Human skin is the main barrier which protects us from the harmful environmental factors such as, for example, the UV radiation, but the outer layer of our skin is also very hydrophobic. So it's a big obstacle for hydrophilic compounds to penetrate deeper into the skin. And we can change this situation by changing, for example, the skin condition, for example, the hydration or the temperature. We can change the chemical structure of the compound, chemical compound that we want to transfer to the skin. We can also encapsulate the substance into a carrier, which will help to penetrate deeper. Or we can use some kind of penetration promoters which enhance the penetration. One of the most promising groups of active compounds are peptides, which have a very diverse chemical nature, and because of that they also show a very broad spectrum of biological activity. And for example, they can stimulate the formation of certain compounds in the skin. They can help with the transportation of other ingredients to the skin, or they can affect the activity of enzymes such as tyrosinase or elastase, which are responsible for the formation of, for example, dark spots or discoloration. And one of the peptides is the copper tripeptide, which naturally occurs in our plasma. It accelerates wound regeneration and also has anti-wrinkle and anti-aging properties. But the main obstacle with this peptide is that it's highly hydrophilic. So it will encounter many problems while penetrating into the skin. So that's why it's very reasonable to encapsulate it into some kind of a carrier, such as liposomes, which are biocompatible particles in the form of lipid bilayer. They consist mainly of phospholipids, and they can encapsulate both hydrophilic drugs, such as the peptide, inside the core of the carrier, or hydrophobic in the bilayer. And in my work, I prepared the liposomes using a classical thin film hydration method by dissolving all of the lipids in a solution, in an organic solvent. And after evaporation, I obtained a dry film. And this dry film was then hydrated with the buffer solution with the peptide. And I obtained raw liposomes with very broad size distribution. So they needed to be, the sizes needed to be decreased by a few methods, such as sonication, extrusion, or freezing it in liquid nitrogen. As you can see, this method is a laboratory method, so this is a very big field to improve it on a laboratory, from the laboratory scale up to the industrial scale or semi-industrial scale. So as we can see, I obtained two kinds of liposomes. The blue ones are anionic ones, so they have negative charge on the surface, and the red ones, or the, let's say, yellow ones, they are cationic with positive charge on the surface. And the mean diameter of the carriers was very small, so we can suspect that they will penetrate deeper into the skin because of their sizes. It was about 100 nanometers, but in the case of anionic ones, it was about 30 nanometers smaller. And as we can see, the concentration of those lipids did not affect the sizes very much. All of the prepared formulations were very stable during the 4-week stability tests. It is a key point for cosmetics, and I would like to mention that those systems were stable without any additional compounds such as preservatives, so they can be considered as stable on their own, because the sizes of the liposomes remained the same after 4 weeks. And I also performed some TM images of the prepared formulations to confirm their sizes and also to show the homogeneity of the morphology of the carriers. The encapsulation efficiency is a key point when you consider active substances encapsulated in a carrier. And as we can see, the encapsulation efficiency of our peptide was about 30% in the case of anionic particles, and it's very high. 30% for a hydrophilic compound, for a hydrophilic active, is a very good result. And here we can see that the anionic compounds, the anionic particles, liposomes, were characterized by a quite higher encapsulation efficiency than the cationic ones, which is probably due to some electrostatic interaction between the cationic form of the peptide and the anionic liposome. I also performed the released tests of the peptide from the prepared carriers. And as we can see, both the anionic and cationic liposomes, they showed a sustained release of the peptide when compared to the peptide solution, for example, in water or in the buffer solution. And they can be used as the sustained or controlled delivery system of the peptide into the skin. So not only enhancing the penetration, but also keeping the concentration of the peptide in the skin at a constant level. And also, in the end, to determine the anti-aging properties of the peptide, I performed the inhibitory tests of two enzymes which are present in our skin. One of them is tyrosinase, which is responsible for the formation of melanin. Of course, it's a very important polymer in our skin, but sometimes it may lead to the formation of discoloration, and we want to get rid of it. But as we can see, the inhibition was about 10%, which means that the copper tripeptide probably will not be an effective tyrosinase inhibitor. But on the other hand, it led to almost 50% of elastase inhibition. And elastase is another enzyme which is responsible for the degradation of elastin. And elastin is a protein, and hydrophobic protein in our skin, which is responsible for the firmness and for the elasticity of the skin. So if we can slow down the degradation of elastin, so if we can slow down the activity of elastase, we can also enhance the skin condition and, for example, reduce the presence of wrinkles. So to sum up, I obtained stable liposomal systems as carriers for the copper tripeptide, which can be used as a controlled delivery system in cosmetics. And because of the very low viscosity of the prepared dispersions, they can be used as ready to use as the, for example, spray for face to reduce wrinkles, or if necessary, they can be used in a hybrid matrix, for example, combined with hyaluronic gel to enhance the properties of the cosmetic, the application properties of the cosmetic. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Michał. Very interesting. So do you think the early adopters are going to be cosmetic companies implementing with anti-aging creams? Or
I hope so.
have you talked to some already?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So what are you waiting for?
Maybe for the networking after the conference.
That's good. So we've heard the shout out, the call to action. And how many people do you have in the team researching?
Actually, I'm working on my own. I'm alone in my team, only with my supervisor.
Okay, so you need a team because there can be
I need a team
quite
for sure.
interesting product which can be easily scalable. Actually, it's an extremely increasing market with a CAGR like growing constantly every year. So, any questions from the audience? No, nobody has wrinkles here. Nobody's interested in a facelift on a Friday. No, it's okay.
We have a very young audience today.
Exactly, a very young audience. Everybody's not interested. Oh, thank you, Michał, once
Thank you very
again.
much.
And meet Michał at the networking, of course. Is Karolina there? Not yet? Okay, I guess we're going to give her a miss. So I'd like to invite our next presentation from One Biome, from Paweł Łabaj, about Discover Your Microbiome, the key to a new quality of life. I agree about it. I'm very interested about your presentation. Hold on, did I switch it on? Yes, it's going to be.
Thank you for your introduction. Yes, my name is Paweł Łabaj, and here I'm speaking to you as a co-founder and co-CEO from the One Biome, however you want to pronounce it. Right. And just to say a few words about the introduction, we are talking, as you can see on the David sculpture, in fact, what's living in our gut. So we're talking about the gut microbiome. The second thing that we are talking about quality of life, and as you've seen on posters, this is LifeScience Open Space Summit, which is about the healthcare and quality of life. We put this text before we showed the poster, so it's not that we are sitting, but this is very good coincidence. And what I also want to stress is that we are talking about the well-being in the context of the health, because of course the health, this is what matters, but we need to think about how improve our quality of life, how we can take care of well-being, because only then we can prevent becoming unhealthy. So staying healthy means that we will take care of our well-being, we'll take care of quality of our life. And what we can say at the moment is that there's a huge civilization progress in over past 10 or 100 years. Everything's speeding up, and the fact that we are talking here, that everything's video recording, is transmitted, we're talking about IT, we're talking about AI. All it means that we have made this progress, and it's in fact it's speeding up. But it's not that it's at no cost, right? So we're talking about, as a consequence, about the environment degradation, which is of course influencing our life. It's influencing the quality of our life. It's influencing our health and well-being. Other thing is that our life is speeding up because many things are happening easier and faster. We are getting more information. We need to react faster. So you can say that in addition to the environment degradations, all these pollutions which you have in the natural environment, we are now start talking also about the pollution by noise, by light, but I would say also pollution by the information. We have too much information, and not everything we can really digest. Our brain is sort of trying to keep the pace about this, but it means that it's already filtering a lot, and it's filtering based off your own expertise. So it doesn't mean that everything what should be end up in your, let's say, understanding, in fact, is ending up. So as a result, the life comfort is decreasing. So this would be true for many other talks, not only about this talk. But then where's the connection with the microbiome? So we talk about the environment. As a society, as a humanity, we are trying now to make some steps to improve it, to stop polluting it that much. So this is here where there is a slow change, but we cannot escape. I mean, yes, you can become an astronaut and go somewhere else, but I guess the environment then is even less hostile. So we need to stay here. We can slowly change it, improve it, but it still will affect our health and our well-being. So what else we can do, we can see what our body is telling to us. We would like to monitor what's happening. And of course, it's very good to go a routine and do the routine like blood test, everything. But most of this diagnostic tests, they are, in many cases, the more information we would like to get, they are more invasive are. And the monitoring gut microbiome, it's not invasive. It's very simple, and it's getting very affordable, just to making the characterization. And this is giving us very rich information what's going on in our body. There are many evidences talking about the diseases, but also about some kind of the small changes as react to our changes of the lifestyle. What means that by monitoring the microbiome, we can think about and we can suggest the changes in our diet and lifestyle, which will affect our well-being and, as a result, the quality of our life. So, why we are doing it? I mean, here I said I'm from company, but in principle, me and our team are coming from the research, where we already spent years on investigating different aspects of the gut microbiome. So what influence on microbiome? How the environment is influencing it? And going further, if we're talking about like One Health and the exposome concept, how different aspects of the exposome are influencing on our health. Also investigating the nutrition and disorders of the gut microbiota. So where are the changes, how they are affecting, how the inflammation in one part of the body is resulting in the gut microbiome, and what is really telling us what's happening. And what also the bit about AI, but before I will go there, you might hear in many talks exchangeably microbiota and microbiome. For many years, it was really used as a synonyms, but in the end, it's not really like this. So with the redefinition, which was like introduced a few years ago, the microbiota should be considered all, let's say, the taxa, the organism, all these living things, but they don't work on their own. I mean, like the colleague was talking before, he was at the moment alone, he needs a team. The bacteria and other organisms, they also need to team up to build a hostile environment in a given ecological niche. So the clue to understand what's going on there is first of all to investigate the synergies, but also to not really focus more on the which specific bacteria is there, but what functions they are providing. Because the specific functions provided by one bacteria are allowing that other bacteria can also live in the same location. So this is what we are investigating as a researchers, but this is what also we are translating to understanding of what we have in our gut and how it can then interfere with our diet and how it can be translated. This is something which is then, of course, in our case will be then processed further with the AI. And just going one step back, we already were talking and many talks, presentations were about the data. So, but the data is just the first step. With the proper pre-processing, we are changing it to information, and here we are bringing a lot of know-how, how to process the information. But this is not where we are yet to provide, the suggestion for the well-being, because then from information, we can then summarize it with AI to get the knowledge. But still, the knowledge is nothing if we do not put it into the proper context and expertise of the people who are closer to the client. So not that the AI, because AI is not there yet. And in the end, we are getting something which we can call a wisdom, which can be translated into what changes we should really do. So in fact, what we offer is that we offer a personalized study of the results of the microbiome characterization. So the processing from data to information to the knowledge. And then through the supervision by the trained specialists in the area of dietetics and medicine, we can provide the suggestions which are already personalized, because it's not that we predict something without seeing a client, but rather that we provide the rich information to the specialist. And the specialist, during the visit and during the talking and interaction with the client, only he or she is able to provide the really tailored suggestions. And what is also important is that it only makes sense when we do this over the time, especially in the case of the well-being, when we are talking about the monitoring, checking from time to time how it's changing, whether our interventions are really resulting in something meaningful. Because the microbiome on its own, it can change within a week or 2 weeks if we travel from Krakow to Gdańsk, and after 2 weeks we might have a slightly different microbiome. But we need to see the baseline to be able to really suggest and decide which direction we should go with the changes of our lifestyle and with our diet to really improve our well-being, and by this improve the quality of our life. And this is where we are heading. And in terms of just to closing up about the possible collaborations, we are improving our methods because the technology, next generation sequencing, which we use for characterization, is improving and is changing. We have more and more data, and this is where we are working, and this is the active way, let's say, active area of research. But of course, what is very important is the context. Here, we are at the moment are basing on the context provided by the client or generated by the clinician. But we can here think about also by the context coming from the wearables and also everything else, which is trying to show like the bigger picture where the person is really located. So to better describe this whole environment, which we can then use as a context to change our knowledge to the wisdom. So this is our team. Tomek is also here. I'm Paweł, Michał, Kamila. So we are 4 of us at the moment. I'm the one who's making that the average age of the team is going a bit higher. Overall, we are the young team, so we don't need the things for the wrinkles yet. Thank you.
Thank you, Paweł, very much. Very interesting, because this has been proven already, evidence that the microbiome is having also a very strong impact actually on our mental and well-being, and actually has a strong influence on depressions. Where can I test it?
When?
When and where? And where?
Where? So we hope to go live with this, sending the kids within the next few weeks.
Okay.
So yeah, almost.
How do I
almost
subscribe?
Sorry?
How do I subscribe?
You can just let us know to one of those, this pavel.labai@onebiome.pl, or just chat later. I can give you the address. And once we will go with sale, then definitely we'll let you know.
Definitely. Any questions from the audience? One there, I'm coming.
Mateusz Adamski, thank you for the topic because it's very interesting. I'm also in this field. I was wondering what kind of sequencing do you do and what's the level that you look at? Is it the genus level? Is it the species level?
I mean, so this is very good questions. As I have said, the NGS is evolving. We are using the...
I mean, is it second NGS, third NGS?
We are using the nanopore sequencing.
Okay.
But at the moment we trying to get into the species level, but of course it's not always possible. It's also depending on the.
You're looking only at the bacteria, or you're looking at the eukaryota as well?
We have plans also to go deeper with increasing the high throughput. So we have a plan of getting into the higher read depth and getting more data, and also going to not only bacteria, but in principle to try to cover the whole spectrum of the microbiota, to just also be able to say this functional really context which is happening there.
It's impossible so far.
So far.
There is no reference microbiome from all over the world, like all the papers are comparing to.
This is of course very, very challenging. We know from, like, for example, from soil microbiome studies that about just 40 to 50% of the reads, in fact, they are coming from reference. So the microbial dark matter in terms of just the taxon is
my mistakes. I mean, like, there's no reference microbiome.
Of course.
it's difficult to say if it's healthy or if it's not healthy.
Maybe we can discuss the
Yes,
details
yes.
by networking,
Sure,
I think.
definitely.
I would
love
suggest that
to follow
because
up
it's
the
interesting. Nothing is impossible. The research takes more time, and with computing, actually, power things can be discovered in the next maybe 20 years then. So thank you once again, Paweł, and let's invite on the next stage our next speaker from ABBA Stroke. David Mayer will be presenting actually how home digital treatment for post-stroke cognitive deficits can look like. Welcome on the stage, David.
Hello, hello everyone. My name is David and I am co-founder of ABA Stroke. And I am really happy that I have the opportunity to tell you a bit about our product, which is at-home digital rehabilitation for post-stroke patients who suffer from cognitive deficits. So to better understand the challenge that we are going to tackle, let's look at this slide. It shows the patient's journey. So at first, after the stroke incident, the patient is transferred to the emergency unit and then to the post-stroke unit. And here the patient spends around 7 days. And from that point, there are two options. Some patients go to the rehabilitation ward, especially those ones who have some physical disabilities like paralysis. But for many patients, the journey ends there and they are sent back home after just 7 days spent in the stroke unit. So when they are discharged, they don't really have continuation of the therapy of cognitive deficits, because if they have physical disabilities, yeah, doctors and specialists pay attention to that. But if they have only cognitive deficits, they are usually neglected. And here, when they are back home, patients feel abandoned by the healthcare system. They don't know what to do next. Some patients receive some kind of exercises to practice at home, but those kind of exercises they have many flaws. Firstly, they are not very engaging and they are monotonous. They look like school homework, so nobody wants to do that every day. And the second thing, these exercises, pen and paper exercises, are generic and not tailored to the patients. Every patient after stroke is different, has different deficits, and here the exercises that they receive are almost the same. And obviously, these exercises don't progress, and the difficulty level don't progress with the patient's progress, so it doesn't adapt. And the third thing is that because of these two first, patients don't use it regularly, they lose motivation, and they are inconsistent with the practice. And because of that, usually the progress is not made in the long run. And this is why we wanted to change something. We started to developing ideas and then creating the solution that would tackle this challenge. ABA Stroke is a product that provides with digital exercises on mobile device that patients can practice and use every day, anywhere, anytime, without the need of the specialists, because it's based on AI and it personalizes to the patient's needs, and the difficulty level of the exercises goes with the patient's progress. Here are the couple of screenshots of this app. And the biggest, and what makes us unique. So there are three things that makes the product unique. The first one, it's based on scientific method, which is applied behavior analysis. This method is derived from autism treatment, but there are some strong indications that it can be also effective in the therapy of post-stroke patients. Actually, we conducted observational study in 2021, and the results were very positive and showed that this method can be really used in the stroke survivors to cognitive therapy. The second thing is that the product is powered by AI. So the patient, when she starts using this app, at first goes through some kind of assessment, some kind of exercises that's goal is to to see what kind of problems the patient has in terms of cognitive deficits and how deep they are. And then, after the first session, the patient has prepared exercises for the next day. And after the next day, the app adjusts to the patient progress, and each session is tailored to the patient's needs. And the third thing is that it's full of gamification, so it helps to keep patients motivated throughout the long-term therapy. It contains some kind of rewards that patient can achieve, and all this gamification is also tied to ABA methods. So the whole product supports this long-term therapy and answering the exercises correctly. We don't want to be another brain trainer like Lumosity or Peak. We are going to become a fully medical device, fully medical product, digital therapeutics, and this is why we started clinical investigation in this year. It started in July 2023, and it will finish in early 2024. There are two groups of patients. Each one includes 50 patients. The first group uses the product for 3 months, and the second group goes through the traditional therapy. And then we are going to measure the difference of progress of those two groups. The primary measurement is MoCA test, which is reputable assessment pre-screening test conducted for post-stroke patients. And the secondary measurement is fMRI scan. This is like exploration for us. We are going to check if there is some physical change in the brains of the patients who practice regularly with ABA stroke. And our business strategy is, first, we are going to become DIGA, which is reimbursed digital therapeutics in Germany, prescribed by doctors. And the second long-term goal is to become FDA-approved medical device and popularized in USA. Our scalable technology also allows us to expand and create the solution similar to ABA stroke, but for other deficits, for other illness, such as traumatic brain injury or mild cognitive impairment, and even long COVID. And also, when we have more data, we probably will be able to create full diagnostic tool for cognitive deficits, and maybe it will allow us to market this tool as a B2B product to hospitals and clinics. And this is our advisory board. We have world-class advisors also from US and Germany who help us to achieve our goals. And that's it. Thank you for listening to my presentation. And if you have questions, please ask, just ask.
Thank you very much for a very interesting part of this. I always appreciate solutions for actually guarantee for all the aiding society, which is actually the hackathon running parallel to that. And tell me, what actually is going to be the biggest challenge for you just to enter the market?
I think that the biggest challenge will be convince the doctors, because I assume that plenty of doctors are not keen on the prescribing digital apps for patients, because maybe there is something new, it is something new for them. But I think that every year, the more digital therapeutics are on the market and they go through the clinical investigation and they show the efficacy. So I think that with each year we will have more power to convince doctors that these tools, not only ABA stroke, but also other digital therapeutics, can be used effectively by patients.
I think also a good access to the market can be through the carers of the nursing homes actually looking after the patients, because they know how their cognitive skills can actually be decreased, or actually targeting the children also of such patients, because they can be like the buyers of that. So
Yeah, of
maybe
course.
by avoiding that. Who has questions? Oh, okay, come in.
Hello. I'm very interested. How did you get financiation to get so far?
It's combination of both, public grant and also private equity. So we started in 2020 with the Bridge Alpha program, and after 1 year of developing MVP, we conducted observational study that showed some results, positive results. And with that result, we were able to attract the private investors, business angels, and also combine it with NCBR grant.
You can always start such projects, for example, with us, with our Berlin Startup Stipendium grant, equity free, and then we have other tools, and then you come back to NCBR as well about it. So various ways. Thank you very much, David, once again. Let's move to last but not least. I would like to invite Izabela Śmiałowska, who is going to be presenting something extremely interesting about how a system of an intelligent clothing providing rehabilitation support can be named InnoTextile from the Regional Center of Social Policies. Welcome on the stage.
Hello to everyone. My name is Izabela Śmiałowska and I represent Regional Center for Social Policy in Krakow, a place where for 7 years from now we incubate, realize and test social innovations. And today, in just a few words, I would like to tell you about one of our innovation. InnoTextile, this is the innovation. It was created as an answer for the social problem, which is limited access to the rehabilitation of elderly and people with physical disabilities. And the solution is smart clothing equipped with micro-sensor systems that is connected to the mobile application that can support the user's rehabilitation and provide incorrect movement that user make during daily activities in and outdoor. InnoTextile has a form of very comfortable and generic trousers or rather leggings that are made from soft materials that are also breathing and has stitches in which there are many sensors that measure and monitor movement of the user and send the information to the mobile application. These can provide kind of self-rehab and also send all the information about rehabilitation to the rehabilitator or doctor. And data and also information are gathered in the system, so they are available to be read for rehabilitation of the patient. Who is this solution for? So InnoTextile was created mainly for elderly and people with physical disabilities, but it can also be very helpful for those who are very active, like sports person or athletes, those who are at the stage of rehabilitation, for example, home rehabilitation. after injuries or maybe surgeries. And also for adults that move independently, but their gain pattern isn't quite good and correct. And what benefits does it bring? It can be a great opportunity. This product can be great opportunity to implement kind of micro rehabilitation at home without direct participation of the physiotherapist. It only requires learning the patient about correct gait pattern, and then rehabilitation can be still doing independently, and the doctor is able to see what is happening with the patient while using online application. And here I would like to grab a bit of your attention and display the film that can show you Innotextile in action and also show the persons behind this concept.
Innotextile to jest projekt, który integruje elektronikę współczesną, łatwo dostępną, to jest ważne, z odzieżą w taki sposób, żeby rzeczywiście ta odzież była fajnymi spodniami, fajną odzieżą, którą się zakłada, nosi się chętnie, natomiast równocześnie ona działa właśnie w taki sposób, że monitoruje pracę kolan. Dane z monitorowania pracy kolan zbierane są poprzez czujniki, a następnie prowadzone elastycznymi taśmami przewodzącymi do jednostki sterującej znajdującej się na lędźwiach. Dane są następnie za pośrednictwem modułu Bluetooth przesyłane do smartfona i tam możemy obserwować na bieżąco, co się dzieje i jak ta praca kolan wygląda.
Fizjoterapeuta w czasie moich ćwiczeń miał pełną kontrolę nad ruszaniem się, szczególnie lewej nogi. Jedna noga się inaczej ruszała od drugiej, była mocniejsza i stąd po prostu przejmowała wszystkie funkcje. I tego się nie da zrobić bez kontroli jakiejś zewnętrznej, tak właśnie jak te spodnie dawały.
Jak się nie ma dostępu do rehabilitanta bezpośrednio, to wtedy możemy korzystać z tych spodni i rehabilitant otrzymuje dane i po prostu może zdalnie monitorować tą pracę.
Takie spodnie pozwalają nie tylko ustawić ćwiczenie, ale bardzo szybko pacjent sam koryguje i już zanika ten ruch. Fizjoterapeuta, mając takie urządzenie, obserwując cały czas chodzenie, jest w stanie cały czas prowadzić kontrolę i korygować ruch.
The solution is available as a prototype in our incubator now. So if you are interested in using it yourself or maybe for a group of your patients, please contact us. Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Isabella. Very interesting project. I also like it for rehabilitation about it. So you need a strong industry partner now to produce it, right?
Yes, we need a partner.
Exactly, production and scaling up, because it can actually lower the price, and then actually it can be offered through refunding opportunities, most probably.
Yes, as I said, it is a prototype, and it just waits for someone who will take it and develop it.
All right, so industry partners out there, just get in touch with Isabella. Any other questions to finish our round? No, I guess everyone's everybody wants a coffee now and just network with Isabel and all as actually our speakers. So actually we came to an end. Thank you once again of the first part of a startup stage at LifeScience Open Space 2023. I would like to thank you very much to all of the speakers, and I guess it's time for coffee and to talk to each other and find the opportunities to find partners, investors, or actually any irrelevant team members for your future project. Thank you very much.
Trying to get people here, so let's maybe start the second part of this startup session. So warm welcome to you guys. I hope that we will grow in numbers because some of the people are still in the coffee machine, but we have the first contestant, Sebastian Sulmer from Humble Minds, that is going to talk about his solution and startup. So the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the chance of being here and to show you our solution, which is BuyerMind. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of BuyerMind, and let me tell you what is BuyerMind for. When we cooperated with startup and small businesses, we noticed that they spend around 40% of their time on chasing their customers, 20% of the time on managing their companies, around 30% of time on delivering what they promise to the customers, and only 10% of the time on building lasting relationships with their customers. So this is why we think it shouldn't be like this. We think they should have more time for building their relationships or delivering what they promise. So this is why we invented a BuyerMind platform, which finds customers and navigates them towards purchase itself by email campaigns. It can identify the so-called 3% ready-to-buy customers and nurture the rest to buy when they are ready. And it's great for marketplaces, for SaaS solutions, software products, small and medium businesses. And also we think it's great for biotech companies, because biotech companies mostly have a problem how to explain benefits to their customers. And this is what our system can do. This is the market of artificial intelligence marketing. And as you can see, it's growing rapidly. It will be almost 10 times bigger in the next 10 years. And we estimated that our market is worth around 2 trillion euros. And we want to get 200,000 customers within 6 years, which is around 1.2 billion euros of income. And of course, we have competition. The most known our competitors are lead generation companies, marketing agencies, and DIY marketing tools like Chatbot, GPT, and others. But lead generation companies, they do 1/3 of what BuyerMind does. Mostly, we have faster feedback loops and better communication, more convincing communication. Marketing agencies, they are just very, very expensive. Who used a marketing agency, then he can, tell us this is true. And DIY marketing tools like ChatGPT and others, okay, you can do similar things what BuyerMind does, but you don't save your time, and time, I think, is precious. At the moment, we have a proof of concept of our system, around not 6, but 8, 9 customers, and we have 20,000 euros of income. And our goal is to have 10 customers to collect feedback, and based on the feedback to build our MVP, and to have 100 customers in 12 months. Our pricing is pretty simple. We have 2 tiers for 300 euros and 500 euros monthly. And the biggest difference is the speed. If you want to validate your customers and find your target group very fast, you just buy 500 euros for our target group. If you are in the beginning of your journey and you need just customers to validate your product market fit, you can pay 300 euros. And then let me tell you why BuyerMind is better. This is an example for Novartis. And I think BuyerMind has 3 main pillars. The first pillar is targeting. Our system reads your offering, it can define your unique value proposition and the benefits, and it finds customers for your offering. So we have really targeted target group. And then we do personalization. Not the personalization like everyone understands personalization, like hi Sebastian or hi John. This is not personalization in our understanding. Our system reads in the web how the target group communicates each other, and then we can adapt the communication in the email templates as they communicate. If they are more empathetic, the communication will be empathetic. If they are more, let's say, KPI driven, it will be like more technical. The second pillar is benefit audience matching. It's not what I mentioned for biotech companies. I have seen so many times that even today that there are presentations and each solution has like several benefits. But at the end of the day, the customer has to understand which benefit is for him and which benefit solves which pain point. So our system can identify what is the top benefit in the offering you have. And this is easier, then it's easier to match, which pain point solves the benefit. So it's easier for you to close a sales meeting with your customer, or if you are a SaaS product, it's easier to navigate your customers to your system and to close so they can onboard themselves. And if you talk about customers, there are different types of customers. Some of them, they are, like I said, ready to buy now, and some of them they can buy but later. So our system helps you also with segmenting the customers. It automatically lists them starting from those which are ready to buy now, so you can navigate them to your calendar or to your SaaS system, and so they will buy your solution when they not just immediately. And for the rest, our system can read case studies you have and prepare automatically email campaigns to nurture them, or we can create business cases based on the data from the web, so we can explain your customer why they should your solution when they are ready. And this is our exceptional team. Each of us has at least from 5 to 25 years of experience in their field of expertise. And so far, we started in January this year. We have, like I said, 5 customers. We were accelerated in the StartUp Polska Accelerator, and we were featured by Louder and Higher. So here are the examples of our customers. Now this is a marketplace. It's Foxdo from Finland. They have a marketplace for management, for management renovation services. And for them, we solve the chicken egg problem because they have to deliver to the platform SAP in demand. So the SAPly, there are people who are providing renovations and other services. So we help them to navigate workers to the platform so they can register and use the platform. And also we're helping them to navigate consumers, so consumers can go onto the platform and start ordering the working orders from the workers. And this is a second example, a fintech company, a lightweight data platform called Zenta Data. And they came to us with a typical similar problem for most biotech companies, that they have several benefits and they didn't know which benefit is the best for top 250 fintech companies in the world. So we help them to first identify with companies like MasterCard, Revolut, and others, which is the most interesting benefit for them. And then we started encouraging them to go to their platform and start using it for their data analytics. So I thank you for your time. It was a pleasure to show you our solution. And if you have any questions, I'm eager to answer them. Okay.
1, 2, 3. I have a question. What's the relation with life science or health at all?
Again, please.
What is your relation with life sciences or healthcare? Because I don't see any relation.
For Novartis, like I said, this proof of concept was about how to explain doctors what are the benefits of their products, of Novartis products, and how to explain to consumers to use their products instead of others.
But it's a lead generation tool. And so how do you differentiate yourself from 1,000 of competitors outside there?
Again, please?
How do you differentiate yourself from 1,000 of other lead generation tools?
And our solution is just fully automated. This one, and it's like 8 times deeper because it's more personalized to your customers, and it's faster and cheaper because with typical agency company you need around 3 months for a feedback loop, and you can have your feedback with us in a month. So we can learn faster and be faster than your competitors.
Okay. Any questions?
Hi.
Hey.
Do you have any research background to support it, like IP, things that you publish that demonstrate that really your solution works better than the others?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Why didn't you present it there?
I didn't present these results, because I'm first time not here, but first time presenting this solution to health tech companies, so I didn't know to expect, to be honest, and I wanted to know what's the reception of the solution.
Okay.
Okay. No, I'm open for a discussion.
I'm super interested. How does it work with the doctors? How would it work with the doctors? They're kind of I'm a doctor myself. They're kind of narrow-minded sometimes. But you can probably target everybody with this tool somehow, right?
Yeah. No, every one of us has, every one of us has awareness about something, everything, And this is a well-known methodology, 5 stages of awareness, and this is why our tool doesn't sell. It just builds the awareness about the solution or a service. Mm-hmm. And this is why it's better, because it's better to segment people and then to navigate them to purchase. So this is why also it's better from lead generation companies, because typical lead generation companies, they tell you just go buy it. And we start with something different. We start with asking a question about a certain topic. Mm-hmm. And then we navigate.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we move further to the second startup. We have a guest from Mallorca. Jamie Rosello, coming from Berlin right now, Silica Corpa. You have a microphone there and a clicker, so the floor is yours.
Hello. Thanks. Just gonna do a quick check if it works. It works. Dzień dobry. Thank you so much for your attention being here. My name is Jaime. I'm coming from Mallorca, but I'm Berlin-based, same as our company, Silica Corpora. I'm the CEO of the company. And Silica Corpora is a Latin term that means silicon bodies, and it's because we are designing antibodies using artificial intelligence. The slogan of the company is 1-for-1 antibody therapies. Let me explain you why with a small case. Here in this picture, you have 3 women. And we can see that these 3 women are very different, right? Very different in ethnicity, in age, also most probably with habits as well. But all of them they have one thing in common, and it's an early stage breast cancer. If they go to the hospital, most probably, mostly sure, all of them will be treated with the same drug. For early stage breast cancer, the gold standard is Herceptin, and the antibody is trastuzumab. What we know as well is that since these women are different, most possibly some of them will have a good response to the treatment, some of them will have little or no effect, and some of them will have maybe side effects. So the thing is that we know that no disease looks the same when you look inside a patient. So if that's the case, why we all treated with the same drug? Why we have one drug for all? Well, the stakeholders of the industry pretty well know the answer, and it's a matter of precision, right? It's physically and financially impossible to make drugs for everybody. And as we said, we cannot be precise enough. It takes an average 15 years also to create just one drug that make it to the market. It's now 6.16 billion on the last Forbes reports. And only 1% of all these projects that go into the pipeline will make it to the market. So the thing is that all this precision problem always starts on the first stage, right? This is an error accumulation factor, but the first stage is always drug discovery. And drug discovery is a very expensive and ineffective process because it's mostly a screening process, right? Scientists just go, take a library's phage display, and they just screen billions of proteins until they find something that is maybe suitable for what they are looking for, right? We usually call this, or we make this comparison like fishing, right? You go to the ocean, you throw the rod, you are looking for this specific fish that can make it, and it's very precious, but you have to fish among billions of other fish. So you never know what you're going to get. On average, 6 years, 200 million, can be more, can be less, but we know that it's a lot, right? The solution to this is drug design. It's already proven that artificial intelligence can step ahead into this precision, and we can design the molecules with the exact properties we need, meaning that we don't need to go and fish anymore. We actually just design the drug that we want, and that can just shorten the steps and make it only 1 year and 2 million also on average. So that's why Silica Corpora was born, and our mission is to design the next generation of antibody therapeutics using generative AI. Today I'm not gonna step a lot into science because I'm pretty sure that most of us are already a bit overwhelmed with that, much of science. Just let me give you some of our best cases that we have. And the best case is, again, going back to the beginning. That's why I put the example of trastuzumab, all right? What we did is to just mask one part of the amino acid sequence with our platform. And we just decided to generate it from scratch. So that means de novo generation with artificial intelligence. We are asking the platform, can you please generate the CDRH3, which is in charge of binding, right? Like one of the most sensitive parts of the antibody. The platform went from 7 sextillion possibilities, because there is 11 amino acids, 21 possibilities, 7 sextillion, a very big number, to only 600 candidates in days. And how do we know that the platform is generating something meaningful? Well, because among these 600 candidates, there was the original trastuzumab in there. In other words, what we did is we just took the ocean, we made it the size of a swimming pool, and inside the swimming pool, we just put the 300-kilo tuna, so you just have to, throw the rod, and you just have to fish it, right? So it's just the proof that the platform is generating something meaningful. Now the thing is, what is happening with the other 599? Are we generating something that is even better? Are we generating a biosuperior? Well, in addition to this case that is actually very interesting, we have 3 other different cases. The first one is the generator, as we said, the de novo generation. The trastuzumab case is a vertical case, but we also made a horizontal case with 200 different antibody-antigen pairs, and we have a success ratio of 61%. We can go in details after. The discriminator, based on properties of antibodies, in that case, binding affinity, we can decide which ones are suitable or not for what we look. For example, as we said, right now we have a 94% on the current success ratio on defining which antibodies bind or not specific target. And finally, an optimizer. Well, once we have like certain sequences that we like, for example, that are already characterized, we can further optimize them. And we have right now an average Spearman's correlation of around 47%. No worries, we have more data. I don't want to overwhelm you. If you are more interested, we can talk about it later. Very quickly about the competition. Of course, there is a big market opportunity, and with a big market opportunity, other competitors fill in the space. How we are different? Well, we are having a set of different characteristics that makes our company unique. The first one is the de novo antibody design proved. The cloud lab automatization, so we are integrating our software into a cloud lab, meaning that we can do a full automatization of the characterization in the future. Sequence-based methods. We are not using 3D structures. This is only sequence methods based. And finally, one of them, which is one of the most undervalued, but also one of the most important ones, we have a very strong network through the Charité in Berlin, Berkeley University in California, and also through our MBA in Life Science Management in Berlin. How do we know that we can make it? Well, our team covers the 3 pillars of an AI biotech company that needs. First one, we have Tim. He's the one in charge of the platform, more than 8 years of experience in AI biotech and AI/ML for antibodies. Anna, my CSO, she is a PhD and postdoc in Charité in immunology. And myself, Jaime, I'm an international manager and also MBA in Life Science Management, and I'm connecting the 2 parts of the business. In addition of that, we have our Berkeley key advisors that are helping us and bringing dozens of years of experience in big pharma, branding, and also positioning. And yeah, just to get finishing, what is our traction? How is it going right now? We secured already 300,000 euros in pre-seed funding. Our platform is validated already. So as I said, we have the case studies, and we have a first paid customer acquired. Is one of the very big university hospitals also here in Europe. I cannot disclose much more, but very soon we'll be able to do it. And yeah, just to keep ending, what can happen next? What is the vision of the company? Well, right now, as we said, we are solving antibody design tasks already, but we expect that in 3 years, we will be able to disclose the full potential of the platform by doing what we call the multi-target antibodies. Single-chain antibodies that bind more than one target. It's a very big step in precision. In 5 years, robotic lab automation will reduce the human error factor to the minimum. just by integrating the software into a full automatic robotic lab that can do the characterization. And finally, the vision, the lighthouse of the company, something that we cannot even know if it's going to happen or not, but where we are heading, where we are looking at. Full personalized therapies. Getting patients' data, multi-omics patients' data, we can create drugs specific for them. They go to the hospital, they get diagnosed, and they leave the hospital with the treatment that they need. So yeah, what is the partnership proposal? Well, we are ready to partner, and what we want to do is to create long-lasting partnerships, and we want to first approach it as an antibody design by contract fees. And we also want to deepen collaborations once we can generate these success stories. In addition, how we want to generate trust with companies? Well, we want to get convinced so we can perform for free a black box experiment, just in case if you want to try it. So that would be it. That's Silica Corpora. We are unlocking personalized therapies. Let's go from the one for all to the one for all. Thank you.
Thank you for this presentation. Really nice one, I have to admit. So any questions? Maybe Jamie? We have one. Watch out, that's going to be painful.
I know.
For sure.
I know.
But I have rehearsed that with Jamie, so totally fine. Yeah, so you are really focused on the genomic profile of the patient here, but as you know, there is a multitude of environments. And so I would recommend you to read a book called The Tyranny of Genes, and how that this approach to genomics only, instead of decreasing the cost of healthcare, is increasing. Because when you screen 7 trillions of possibilities and you get 400, you are really reducing the cost, of course, but you still have a high cost when you're treating 2, 3 patients, because that's what you're finding on the genetic profile. So for me, I really like your second step for the next 3 years, where you are looking to multi-targets. So that's what we are doing. So we are creating this perspective of integrated personalized health, not personalized medicine. So those two things are quite different. Yeah, so I liked your presentation, but I think that the single target, okay, is going to, of course, give you money and put your startup. But the personalized medicine is not about that. It's about, bringing everything together. But I really like it, I think. But those 3 years are going to be challenging for sure. But yeah, that's a nice presentation.
Thank you. And I got to say that to your point, that is a very good point, because usually we tend to misunderstand what is personalized medicine and precision medicine. And they are two different things. So what we're trying to say is that we would like to look ahead into this personalized medicine, but what we are doing now is precision in the end. So we are stepping in precision in conventional methods. So we still need the in vitro methods. We are not getting rid of them. The only thing that we are doing is that we're making them faster and more effective. So that would be it. But yeah, I completely agree with you.
Thank you, Jamie, for that. I think we need to follow up with another presentation, but that was perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
So right now we will have Małgorzata Miastkowska from Politechnika Wrocławska that will present her idea or a startup which is in development already. So please, here's the microphone and the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction. Today I would like to tell you about the prototype of eco-friendly mask for soothing and healing damaged skin. But first, I would like to tell you some words. This prototype, this idea was invented by me and my colleague Katarzyna Bialik-Wąs from Kraków University of Technology. And what is crucial here, that her field of studies is hydrogels used in medicine, in cosmetic industry, and my field of studies are nanoformulations like nanoemulsions, nanostructured lipid carriers. So it appears that there is some kind of niche in aesthetic medicine, and we know that from clinic of aesthetic medicine that up to 21% of treatments in aesthetic medicine is based on laser therapy, which is very helpful tool for especially people who have huge skin problems, and only laser therapy can help them. But it has some disadvantages, like that fractional laser produce small damaged in the skin. And as you can see on the picture, the skin is swollen, red, and sometimes it even painful. And as we know, doctors don't have many tools to help those people. Just emulsions and just some cooling gels, but they are applied individually. And as I said, laser therapy helps for many dermatological diseases and problems like scars, warts, rosacea, as you can see here. So, like I said at the beginning, my field of research are lipid nanodispersions and Kasia hydrogel matrix. So we thought that we can combine it, and we created a biohybrid of hydrogel matrix with lipid nanodispersion, and that's how the biomask was. I'm sorry, the biomask was created. And what is the advantages of this idea? First of all, lipid nanodispersions can contain hydrophobic drugs, and hydrogel can contain hydrophilic drugs. And lipid nanodispersion can regenerate the skin, and hydrogel matrix can cooling and moisturizing the skin. For example, we cannot put the hydrophobic drugs into the hydrogel matrix because the environment is hydrophilic. And this combination, this hybrid, 2-in-1, can combine all of these advantages, which are not present at the market. So the innovation based on this combination that we can put simultaneously acting active ingredients. But what's more, this mask is fully ecological, based on bio ingredients. It's biodegradable, and we use waterless and upcycling trends, which nowadays are very important according to the sustainable development. And here you can see the results of the prototype. This is the final prototype after combining lipid nanodispersion which had less than 200 nanometers and basic hydrogel matrix. And as I said, we used water from the reaction as a byproduct of chemical processes, which is very important now to use water already existing on the market, not taking the new sources. So we use principles of sustainable development, waterless upcycling, and in the end, those product has moisturizing, cooling, and what's more important, regenerating properties. And it's it can be a vegan cosmetic. Here you can see microscopic pictures which are approved that this mask has porous, and that's why it can release those active ingredients. And here are some in vitro and in vivo results. And I have to ask that this prototype has been fully tested as a cosmetic product. So it has been tested dermatologically, microbiologically, and it has also in vivo studies, aperture studies. And just after 1 hour, which is very important because no one has too much time when it goes to the clinic of aesthetic medicine to apply this 24 hours, 48 hours. So we know that after 1 hour, the active ingredients are released. And that's why after 1 hour, the hydration increase up to 91%, as well as elasticity, transepidermal water loss is decreasing, and erythema and skin sensitivity is also decreasing. And what's more, in vitro studies proved that it's not only not cytotoxic, but effect on the synthesis of procollagen type 1, which is a proof that it really regenerate the skin. The same in case of synthesis of collagen and elastin. So in the end, the innovation is seeing what everybody has seen and thinking what nobody has thought. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, but did I understand you correctly that you would like those aesthetic medicine departments, let's say, to use it in-house after the laser therapy, or is it out-of-the-box solution that you can sell in Rossmann or in other places and the customer can buy it and apply it themselves?
Yes, there are two options because we already have the company which want to buy this technology, and first they want to go to the aesthetic medicine clinics and the cosmetic salons, and then after that maybe expand the market on Rossmann and other cosmetic shops, maybe.
You can maybe even make an upsell on this one. Like, relax for an hour, take the mask, we will massage you for 400 zloty on top of that, so that's like an upsell.
Yeah, but also they want to expand because this mask can be also the base for other drugs, for other applications, and they want to expand because not only after laser therapy, because there are many, as we know, possibilities to use it.
What's the cost of the mask that you foresee?
Really, it's lower. The competition on the market, which are not, because there is nothing like that, nothing like hybridolate. But for example, emulsions cream, the cost is up to from 30 to 200 zloty, and the cost of this mask is about 47 zloty.
All right. Okay. Any questions from the audience? We have one. Do you have a mic there? Yeah, perfect.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. Just a question. You talked about the price. If you are better and there's already something on the market for a certain price, why do you go lower price?
Because we want to, well, now it will not be our solution, but I think it's better to have lower price because this solution can help then more people, right? Because many of people have dermatological problems, and the lower price is also advantages from our point of view.
If somebody goes for the laser therapy for a couple of hundred zloty, I guess 50 zloty won't change much.
Yeah, but like I said, the application can be expanded, so not only laser therapy and not only in clinical aesthetic medicine.
Okay.
Okay, clear answer. It's more a go-to-market strategy that maybe start with a niche to make sure that you go, and then you can always lower your price if you want to support more people. So it's not that it's a permanent state, it's just when you enter. Anyway, yeah.
Do you understand? You are selling the patent this way?
Yeah, because we have patent application and European patent application, and we already assigned the agreement of selling. So.
Okay, so basically you are not looking for anything because you are selling the patent, so you are free and you can do another research.
And yes, and we plan to do that.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we move to Wojciech Paprota with WellMate. Floor is yours. You have 10 minutes. You're going to record yourself? I can help you with that if you want. Okay. Sure. Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
Yeah, it's me you're looking for. Hello, everyone. My name is Wojciech Paprota. I'm a founder and CEO at WellMate, which can be best described as a smart micro doctor for macro problems with metabolic health. Before I start talking about the company itself, I would like you to have a look at these two numbers, 41 million and $770 billion. 41 million, that's more than the population of Poland. That many people die worldwide due to late disease detection. And $770 billion, that amount of money is wasted globally on a low-level yet preventable healthcare services. It's more than the GDP of Poland. So whenever we are talking about any problem, we need to ask ourselves the question, why does it appear? Well, in late disease detection, it's pretty obvious, because the answer is because people are not taking regular health checks and examinations. But let's dig deeper into that and ask ourselves the question, why do people in 21st century still don't do those regular health checkups and examinations? Well, the answer is pretty simple in that case, because the examinations and health checks are painful, inconvenient, costly, time-consuming, and for example, if you go to a hospital and you do a certain blood test and a certain parameter is abnormal, the answer and the recommendation from the clinician is often, maybe too often, very generic and uninformed, meaning that you need to eat less veggies, you need to exercise more, and you need to stress less. And another source of this problem is the fact that the data of the patient is not aggregated. When I go to one hospital, let's say LuxMed, they don't know about the examinations that I've conducted in, for example, Medicover. And that also creates this problem. And with that being said, we come to a conclusion that the patient's approach to healthcare is reactive, not proactive. And here is a standard journey, a pretty sad one, of a patient that is having a reactive approach. So let's meet John. John is sick, he doesn't feel well, so he calls an ambulance that takes him to hospital. And let's assume that he's diagnosed with a diabetes type 2. And therefore, in order to live happily, he needs to introduce a new daily and painful routine, meaning to get the blood test with the glucometer every day, probably multiple times. But since it's painful, it's inconvenient, that leads to avoidance of this routine, and John ends up with an amputation. And if he continues to live like this, he would end up dying, robbed with the happy and healthy life that he could have. So imagine a scenario where we can change that, and we can improve the medical checkups by providing the patients with a non-invasive way to monitor more than 1,000 parameters in real time with a continuous access to this data, and provide the evidence-based and insightful recommendations based on the patient's data. And along with that, the perfect scenario would be to let them also have the customized prevention strategies of these diseases, and also customized option to fight the diseases that they already have. Of course, in the ideal scenario, everything should be accessed from a mobile app, and it would be like a one-stop shop where not only you can monitor your data, get the treatment, but also buy stuff that you need in the right moment, such as supplements or consultations with the clinicians. Well, I have a question. Does it sound like a utopia? Does it sound like a wishful thinking or science fiction? Well, it certainly does, but it's not, because today I would like to show you the patent-pending microdoctor that we in WellMate are developing. It's a passive implant located in the hand, right here. I have one, maybe even more than one, like surely more than one in my hand. You can reach out to me and see in real life after the presentation. And it uses advanced optics called Raman spectrometry to measure the level of each metabolite that you have in the interstitial fluid. Imagine one diode shining inside of your body and getting the optical data of everything that is out there. That's amazing. And of course, the AI-powered app converts the optical data to the numerical data. But implant is just the gateway for monitoring, treatment, and prevention. Yesterday, we had a cool speech by one of the Sano representatives who said that the model is as good as the data that we feed with that. And that's perfectly true, because we cannot do anything only with the raw data, with the implant. We need to take one step further. And that's why we are developing a smartwatch for continuous monitoring to this real-time data. It's particularly important for the people suffering from diabetes type 1. An AI-powered app for spotting the red flags and providing the customers with the solutions. And of course, the marketplace with the medical products and services, such as medical appointments. And of course, the data is the key. We cannot do anything without the data. So some people ask and tell me, oh, Wojtek, you are in a hardware business, not in a software or AI business. But it's not necessarily true. if we only have the monitoring device, that would be the end of the story. Like, it would still be the same case as with Freestyle Libre, glucometers and stuff like this. But we are on a mission to change that and to provide the best level of medicine and healthcare to everyone. The one that is currently available only to the political leaders and billionaires. But with that system, with our AI solutions, this can change and is changing. Of course, if we are looking at the market opportunity, we all know that this market is huge. Only the healthcare services are worth more than $10 trillion worldwide. But if we narrow it down only to the anti-diabetes market, we are still tapping a fairly huge market of $67 billion. Of course, if we narrow it down only to the US and European market, which is our priority. Well, our journey is long, but I'm proud to say that we have done a lot of stuff already. We have just wrapped up the preclinical trials on pigs with our macroscape prototype that confirm our hypothesis, confirm our studies and proof of principle. And now we don't call it a proof of principle, we call it proof of concept. So it's not a wishful thinking, it's not a utopia, it's actually happening right now. The next steps for us, of course, the miniaturization, the clinical trials, and the certification. With that advanced projects, we have multiple business models and business lines because, of course, we have the implant sales, subscription-based services, as well as the marketplace. But we cannot forget about two last, even more important ones, which is AI-based services, pretty much the same thing that Sano is doing, and the IP licensing, because we have a huge potential in such markets like veterinary, space market, and the military segment. Everything in those sectors, maybe not everything, but every living creature needs certain monitoring, that advanced analytics and insights. Here is our team. Myself, I'm the entrepreneur since the age of 15, but I also graduated from 4 business schools around the world. Jakub Buszyński, technological genius, someone who has a master's degree in applied physics and has already developed multiple medical products. Andrzej Miturski, co-owner of Centrum Medyczne LuxMed Lublin, medical doctor with a PhD in metabolic health and one of the most reputable persons in Poland in that area. And last but not least, Michael Gąsior, a person who has been in the startup world for more than 20 years, founder and advisor to numerous startups, also in the healthcare and longevity niche. On top of that, we also have an amazing advisory board, top-level experts from multiple industries, all the areas that we are actually tapping in. And we are so grateful and thankful to have them, and they are available on right on our fingertip. And we believe that with that team and with the data that we have and with the technology that we have and with the confirmed hypothesis that we have, we can change that. We can change the John's history and save him and introduce that kind of proactive approach and save John, and not only John, but many more people out of this 41 million who die every year due to late disease detection. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. I'm looking forward to the questions, and I'm looking forward to showing you the implant because it works in real life with any phone that has NFC. So yeah, looking forward to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. It's a little bit surreal, but it's happening, and it's the future probably. So and the future is here.
Now, not the future.
Any questions from the audience? I guess all is clear, and we have a little bit delay, so I guess maybe there will be an opportunity to see. Actually, I think he has like 3 of those implants, right?
Well, now I have 5 because we've been testing multiple stuff, and I'm a guinea pig. So yeah, there is also an implant for payments because you saw on the slide our journey. The first point was non-medical implant, and before that we used to develop the implant for payments. And the way I do my shopping is just tapping my hand to the payment terminal. So yeah, I would be more than happy to show it to you in real life.
Yep, Perfect. And devices, the implantable devices, they're happening right now. I used to work in Roche Diabetes Care. They had solutions like that. This is right now distributed through Ascensia. And a couple of days ago in the Health the Forward conference in Warsaw, I saw ophthalmologists who were monitoring actually eye tenderness by implanting something in eye, actually like a microchip in eye. So implantables are basically here. So thanks again for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
So right now we have 2 more presentations left. We will host Robert Gosik from Uniwersytet Rolniczy. So, hi Robert, you have a microphone. Clicker in. The floor is yours.
So the first thing I would want to say is, let me say, okay, how to make a presentation more interesting. I think the basic thing is to make it different. So my presentation today will not be, I will not try to sell you something. I will try to get feedback from you to find out if my idea, if you think my idea is worth of creating into a startup, or maybe I should just forget it because it's not worth it. So I would like to welcome you into an old problem which needs basically new solutions. And we're talking, I'm from the University of Agriculture, I'm a PhD student, and we're talking about phosphate binders for people with chronic kidney disease. And if you're not familiar with this topic, I'll just try to have a bigger perspective of it. The first thing is, okay, why are we talking about phosphate binding? In general, as most of you know, that phosphorus is found in many food. It's a lot about in dairy, in milk products, in meat. It's a lot of phosphorus in general. And for most people, it's not the issue. But if you have chronic kidney disease, then it's a thing that is a risk thing for you. There's been research done that elevated phosphate in blood resulted in a higher level of cardiovascular disease. And it's interesting that people from chronic kidney disease, there's some research done also that showed that people from chronic kidney disease, so your kidneys don't work, but the reason for the death is what? It's your heart. And of course, a topic is broad. But the idea is one of the causes, it's phosphorus. It's phosphate, which is basically in two big amounts in our body. And if you think logically, if you think, okay, phosphorus is an issue, well, we should probably think about improving this phosphate level. And we can do it by some kind of diets. You can do it by dialysis if you have chronic kidney disease, especially later stages. But it's not enough. That's where phosphate binders come in. The topic is old. It's been around probably 50 years that we use phosphate binders. Probably people in medicine can correct me if I'm wrong. But the idea is, if you look at review papers, everybody says, we need new phosphate binders. And we have worked in the university on creating a phosphate binder based on zirconium. It's interesting that zirconium itself, it's been used in different areas, but it's not used in chronic kidney disease yet. If you can see this beautiful picture of how the product looks like. The image is kind of blurry, but you can see that it's a powder which could be put into a capsule without any problem. We did some research on physical-chemical research, which I won't talk about, so you can rest assured. But I'll show you just one. I'll show you one graph. Here it shows how much phosphate it binds. The numbers are around 1,200. And we checked it in vitro in the lab in different pH. Why different pH? Well, our GI tract, in our GI tract, the pH is not constant. It changes. If you have a full stomach or an empty stomach, it all changes. So that's why we checked in different pH. And you can ask, well, okay, nice numbers. I like the colors, or maybe I don't like the colors. But what does it mean, like in comparison with different phosphate binders? That's why I'll show you a graph from, I took the results from those researchers, and they were doing research on iron. Their phosphate binder was based on iron. And you can see on the fourth, the dark green to the right, it's their results. As you can see, our results was we were able to bind twice as much phosphate in comparison with this novel phosphate binder they had. We did some toxicity research. Those are like preliminary. We had some newer studies, but I just received them this week, so I wasn't able to put them in this presentation. And the question is, how can you get involved? As I said in the beginning, it's more like I want to give an idea, and you can give me, I would like to get feedback. Because to be honest, since it's from this level, it's like real basic chemical description, and also a bit about how it works and stuff. So we still need to continue the research. So we need to do on animals and stuff. So if it's an opportunity for you to get involved, to continue. If you see potential in this, I would say it's promising, at least in my opinion. But the idea is, if it has potential, I would say we still need to develop it. And thank you very much for your attention.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that. So I understand that this is still a research level at that point. So what would you need to come to the market with a product like that?
Probably we would have to go for patent. Mm-hmm. And then if we patent it, we could... It has a lot of applications because it could be either for humans or it could be animals. Animals also suffer from chronic kidney disease. It could go for a supplement. So it's a different paths it could basically go.
And depending on the path, it deteriorates if you need to do a clinical research and how many phases and how much it would cost, etc.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the audience? Oh, 2. Wow. Can we get a mic to the colleague over there, maybe from the back? And I will give this one to Adam.
I'll ask quickly. Actually, I was exactly thinking about the same as Jakub about supplementation markets. It's an extremely growing market, and like there's extremely good producers in Poland and in Europe. How about hitting on them and just developing something for a product which can go directly on the market?
I would say that's the biggest challenge for me, to find someone who would be, to be honest, like the university I'm working in, I and my supervisor are working on it, but not many people are in general like working on this phosphate binders. So it's like a niche, at least in our university, and a niche thing. And collaboration with, I would need a bigger, basically, player. Like I'm a small player, like our university is a small player. To go further with this, basically, I need somebody who has who is able to continue with it.
Perfect. And the last question is from Jamie.
Yeah, here. Sorry. Can you deep dive a bit more in potential applications that you have? Because also, what can you offer, to a potential partner? Because I'm thinking, for example, if it would be interesting for diagnostics. And if so, what can you provide, like from your research that could be interesting for a company?
The biggest thing is, like, I would say we found a substance that nobody yet, at least I didn't find research about using it in this specific application. So it shows promising phosphate binding. And I would say for diagnosis, it's hard to say because it's more treating it. I wouldn't treat it. I wouldn't recommend like swallowing those pills just because you want to get your phosphate level down. It's more for, I would say, if you're above the phosphate level in your blood, I would say, okay, yeah, you could take it. So the main application would be if you have critical levels or you have too high levels, take it to find a good opportunity to lower those levels.
Perfect. Thank you then, Robert, and
thank you
for the
much.
presentation. Thanks. And the last but not least, Mateusz Dworak with AutoCast. There you go, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mateusz. I'm a medical doctor, and I would like to take you on a journey in my world, in my journey. So I'm a co-founder, together with Martyna and Konrad and Michał, of the team AutoCast. We want to improve the treatment of diabetic foot patients. So I was really into the Wojtek presentation about diabetic field. Thank you for showing the market. And we are not your competitors. Hopefully we will have some fruitful collaboration here. But just quickly, I will say our vision. So basically, we want to stop amputations to happen because there are too many. And we are based in Germany, so there are 9 million patients with the diabetes. We want to gather 25% of them in which they will have developed diabetic foot ulcers. And these ulcers are straight going forward to the amputation because they're very difficult to heal. Although there is a gold standard out there that researchers approved, which has very good papers, but there are also some buts that we are using. So basically, the gold standard is total contact cast. So you're making a special cast for your leg to take the pressure of the feet and take it to the knee and the ankle, so that the healing process is way much better. So the pressure points are not as strict by the force of your weight. And this therapy is not very famous around Germany because it's very difficult to make it. So it takes 40 minutes. It requires a specialist, not only orthopedic specialist, but he has to obtain some special courses how to make this cast. It takes during the treatment it takes 4 times to make this cast because of the swollen of the ankle. The cast has to be perfectly fitted to the leg. And of course, it's not sustainable, and it's also very expensive. So what the doctors are doing, they don't want to take a mess of this therapy and they don't want to waste their time, so they're prescribing alternatives. Alternatives for this are walkers, medical walkers, but they have very bad papers, very bad research and effectiveness and adherence of this therapy. Because patients don't like them, they have to walk with them, but they're very uncomfortable. They're not fitted to the legs, they're not personalized. And basically, in the diabetic foot ulcers, there's also neuropathy, so that the patients don't feel the pain in the leg. And they taking this off and just walking without it. And this make wounds even worse. So what we want to do, we want to use the new technology and that is out there. We basically want to 3D scan the leg and the pressure sensitivity of the foot, and then create a personalized orthosis with the special biomaterials. And of course, develop a software that will produce an algorithm which will personalize the production of the orthosis to each patient needs. Yeah, so basically, we want to assess these 2 therapies that are out there, take the best points of it, and incorporate them into our solution. And this will improve the time, workforce, adherence, and personalized fit. And basically, this is our unique value proposition for patients, but also for doctors. And insurance companies, with whom we are talking right now. And fortunately, they are very interested in our solution. So basically, for patients, there is of course, the safety and like the treatment of the food ulcers, so that you will know that the treatment is good. For healthcare professionals, you earn a lot of time, and you can streamline your workforce to like other tasks in hospitals that are more productive. And for healthcare stakeholders, it's like a premier healthcare service, and it also we also like keep it sustainable. So we want to use like materials that are like can be used for other prostheses. So our cooperation, of course, like is within the medical clinics. Right now, we're building ecosystem out diabetic doctors in Germany, but also we are looking for doctors in Poland because like we believe in the cooperation within the publication matter, but also within the implementation matter, and we want to sell it as a service. Of course, we are also talking with the insurance companies. It differs from the country, but in Germany there are different ones. So if we decide to cooperate with one, there will be no possibility to cooperate with others. But this is also an interesting thing. The market is huge. I will not talk about it more because, like, thank you, Wojtek, for your insights. We want to just take 1% of it in 5 years. So that's our initial thought. And right now we're in a prototyping phase. We're looking for partners. We have already created some prototypes that we want to test. So we are looking also for clinics to cooperate with us and test it in the real environment. And of course, it will take a long time, but for sure, if you are interested in the topic or if you have any contacts with the diabetic patients or diabetic scientists, please contact with us. This is what we are looking for. This is our team. So there are 2 medical doctors, me and Konrad. Konrad is actually like practicing doctor in Germany in an orthopedic clinic. And basically, this is his idea. He saw it, like he is doing the amputations, and he was like, he wants to do more stuff like proper like knee and something like that, and stop the amputations from happening. So this is why we kind of collect. And as you can see, together with his wife, which is like brilliant CEO, we are working with it. So this is like a kind of family startup, but still very productive. So thank you for that, and please find us on LinkedIn or other sources. And yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mateusz, for your presentation. That was super interesting, especially the family aspect. You know, are you related with them or not yet? Right. Any questions from the audience to Mateusz? That was our last presentation, but we still have some time for lunch. So questions for Mateusz, and we will start a short panel discussion in a minute as well.
Go ahead. What do you think about this? Will it be implemented in Poland?
In general, I think it's probably a hard piece of bread, I would say. I know one company who tried to do also 3D printed materials for like when you break your leg or arm, you know, like you have this old school classics like gyps, cementum, and etc. They would try to do something like a 3D printing, but always the problem was the printer itself, because the hospitals are not, you know, they don't have these printers, so you have to kind of outsource it somewhere. They need to print it, they need to come it back. So maybe with the fractures, it's not so easy, but if you have a ulcer leg, you will have it for days or months. So it's not like you actually need this right here, right now. You can have it in 2 days or 3 days, it doesn't matter, right? So that's a little bit easier.
Yeah, this is why in our service we create kind of this dispersion that at first visit the medical doctor is getting the measurements of the feet, like very easy 3D scan using the normal phone with just 2 cameras, so like everyone has it. And on the next visit, he will get the orthosis and just install it together with the patient so that the treatment starts, and it's very simple.
Okay. I think it's a big problem in Poland as well, all over the world, when it comes to diabetes, and diabetes numbers. People with diabetes are increasing. So definitely we're going to see more and more of that. So yeah, good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you a lot.
All right. So now we will have a short panel discussion. So please welcome Monika Kozroń-Sikorska from ExecMind, Krzysztof Jaskóła from Innovations Hub Foundation, We have Łukasz Bandała from Revolve Healthcare. Or we don't? Łukasz Bandała? No, we will make it without Łukasz, no worries. And we have Adam Formanek as well. You already know Adam, so please join me for this short discussion on the talent acquisition a little bit, talent pool, and what are the differences between the ecosystem of innovation and startups in Poland and Germany. So maybe we will start by a short introduction. You already got to know Adam in the keynote session, so maybe we will start from here.
I've got the microphone, so I will be first. My name is Monika Kozdroń-Sikorska, and I'm chemist by my background, but for more than 20 years I was in the business, in chemical industry, but leading the teams, leading the companies for the big players in chemical and life science industry. And last year I changed my path, professional path. I joined ExecMind, a life science executive search company. And I work with the team or talent acquisitions and management acquisitions.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm Krzysztof Jaskóła, and I'm head of external relations in mentoring programs for Innovations Hub Foundation. We conduct mentoring programs, one of the biggest ones in Poland for students especially. Privately, I am also the CEO and founder of my own startup, and I don't know, a hobby, for example, I really like to skiing, and my startup is related to this.
It's a healthcare startup?
No,
Oh, sorry.
it's basically like a virtual coach for skiing, like as a mobile application. It's not yet on the market, but it will be like in a month.
All right. We're in Kraków, close to the mountains, of course, obvious. We can go for a virtual coach. Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Adam, something more about you?
Not really, but who doesn't know me? So here I am. I'm a startup incubator, mentor, and actually program manager in Berlin. So if you just want to get some team matching and advice how to create a startup, I'm more than willing to help.
Perfect, thank you. So the first question is to Monika, actually, because we know and we see that, pulling talents from the market, especially for the startups, it's not an easy one. For maybe it's a little bit easier for life science or a big corporation, especially. Oh yeah, we have Łukasz there. Hello, how are you? A mic for you, maybe a short introduction.
Hello everyone, sorry for being late. Too much networking outside. My name is Łukasz Bandała. I was a software developer. Now I'm a co-founder of Revolve Healthcare, a software development company specialized in healthcare.
Thank you. Perfect. So getting back to we have 3 mics. We are blessed. Thank you. So coming back to you, how to pull actually startups or talents and retain talents from the market for life science, because the startup before they develop, usually it's hard work, not so much well paid, not so much structured, and not so much safe, I would say. So how to actually pull those talents from the market and try to make them stay?
Yeah, I think that the first very important thing is to find the like-minded people who will want to achieve the same goal as a startup founders. And this is easy to say and not easy to achieve, because at the beginning everybody have a lot of energy and a lot of hype to work together, and usually we search, or the funders search people around themselves and find people who have this energy and share this idea. And later on, when the team is growing, it's more difficult and difficult. But of course, there are some strategies which can be used to attract those people and to find those people all over the world. Because when we are searching the people for our clients, we are searching all over the world and trying to bring them together. This is another thing which we will probably discuss later. And for this can be used, for example, the strategy of EVP. This is employee value proposition, which very often is omitted by founders, or very often is forbidden. And Usually when people from startups look for the new talent for their teams, they just place the advert in the internet and they think it will do the job. So we are looking for the talented people, please come to us and we will make you happy. This is not working. You need to share your vision and you need to attract people, and everything what you do is the communication, not only with your clients, but as well with the candidates you want to attract from the market. So the messages on LinkedIn, the messages on the website, everything is the communication with the future candidates. And then when we start to talk with candidates, it's very important to take care about them. So on every stage of the recruitment process, to be in touch, to be in contact, and choose the people who will add the skills and competencies to the team. Not only people who can add something to the science, but as well the business part of the startup, which is very often, again, forgotten from the beginning. And later on, it's a big issue after some years that the investors wants some effects, some sales or some business effects, some money at the end in return, and this is not happening. Maybe I should give the mic.
That's very good. Thanks a lot. Actually, we've prepared questions, but how the questions will follow was not actually maybe so much executed. So I will actually go back to Adam, because we talked about the talent acquisition and pool, and you have a big perspective on the Berlin market. And actually, you talked about internalization. And me working in Poland, I was once approached by one of the VCs in Berlin, actually, because they see that I was working in a diabetes field at that point, and they had a CEO who had an idea, and they were trying to build a team, like the core team. I was supposed to be the chief medical officer, and it wasn't a problem for them, to reach out to somebody in Poland saying like, "Hey, move to Berlin." I didn't took this opportunity in the end, but the internalization was there. So, what's your point on what are the differences in the ecosystem? Because I haven't seen such practices in Poland. Actually, maybe they are, but I just haven't saw them. So you can prove me wrong that you are actually doing this. And what's your take on this one, on the ecosystem?
It really depends on the stage, of course. So I agree a lot about vision and finding same-minded, like-minded people about the vision and actually getting the same sort of like hands-on approach. But from my experience in startup incubators for many years and actually finding teams, recruiting initial teams and building them and just incubating them for up to 12 years, I could be writing with my colleagues books already about it, and it's absolutely interesting and fascinating. I also would like to say that what is the key is also just to get the roles sorted. This is something what we're just trying to describe at the beginning, but of course like-minded people are interesting, but just get your roles separated. Not everyone can be doing everything. Researchers are expecting to be actually research, but then they're just involved in a lot of actually non-research tasks. Business people then are out of a sudden like operational managers and officers, and actually CTOs are becoming also just team building and HR strategies. So just be aware of that you have to be a little bit of multitasking hands-on, but at the same time just to divide the roles and expect there's going to be a roller coaster in the beginning, and certain people at the beginning are just not going to be used to the fast pace, to the changing environment, to the iterations, to pivots, and it's going to be a bit dramatic. Yes, that's what happens. Sometimes you get a startup is a human organization in uncertainty, and this uncertainty is actually reflecting on these human relations. We're just humans, and certain human relations do not work. So sometimes don't get scared. If you cannot change the people, just change the people and move on, because this is maybe what's actually we should approach in that. What we also just try to always help people just to have a look at is actually what's in Germany has been very highlighted is focus on diversity. And that's not diversity that it should be more women or like, I don't know, LGBT people, but it's just actually the diversity of people with experience background and also different age. You might be looking sometimes at people that out there, 50, 60 plus, and thinking, hey, old farts, they're just not going to be able to work in a startup. You're wrong. You might be getting actually the best experienced people who have been working with a lot of people, and they can help you to move your startup to the next level. So diversity means actually roles should be compatible, but at the same time different enough to bring you to the next level. And remember that also each of you has a network, and that's something what I think in Germany has reached already like a little bit this American level of networking, of introducing people to other people and actually just bringing them to the next level. Something what in Poland is still a little bit at the beginning.
I love this quote. If you cannot change the people, change the people. It should be, engraved on the walls of every startup. Like if you come to the place, to your work, and you see, if you cannot change the people, change the people. And this will get you motivated to actually work harder. Actually, to Krzysztof, maybe if we could, we can maybe pass the mic. That's a good option, because Krzysztof is working in an Innovations Hub Foundation, a foundation which is actually connecting together people from different backgrounds, from medical background, technical background, business background. And this is actually what we were talking yesterday in the panel discussion as well, that for the innovation to happen, you need to have those different backgrounds come together. So the question for you is, like, what are the criteria that you or Innovations Hub Foundation consider when selecting startups for acceleration? They are not always startups. Sometimes you are taking entrepreneurs with some mindset and you kind of build a team around them. And what is the secret sauce sometimes that you see? What is the binding people together that make them successful in the future from your perspective and perspective of Innovations Hub Foundation?
Okay, so maybe before I explain our approach, I would like to rephrase your question a little bit, because at the Innovations Hub, we conduct our mentoring programs as incubation initiatives, not acceleration. And that means that we have a slightly different approach towards our candidates. In acceleration, generally, participants receive larger funding, and the projects itself tend to exhibit like greater maturity. They typically have a defined problem and a solution. And on the other hand, in our incubation program, individuals can approach us without a specific startup idea. You can contact us with just solely your skills and willingness to try your hand at innovation. And we prioritize, because of it, key characteristics like, for example, motivation to act, problem-solving abilities, or openness to challenges, rather than the idea itself, its scalability or industry's foresight. And based on, for example, declared skills, experience, or personality traits, we conduct matchmaking in order to make complex teams. And this way we can cover a comprehensive spectrum of all startup needs by collaborating all of the founders' skills together. And this year we are also for the first time introducing a possibility for our founders to autonomously form their teams based on introductory meetings and discussions with other people. And in the first stage of our program, we let our teams conduct like investment teasers based on our workshops, and mentors that comes to the program after the second stage select the ideas that they like the most and that they would like to endorse under their patronage. Later on in the program, in the subsequent parts of it, we analyze startups in terms of readiness, indicating error, and flagging red and yellow flags. Red flags means problems hindering further development, and yellow flags means potential obstacles in the future. And while the program goes on, we analyze startups in terms of readiness, and for example, we let them develop pitch decks, promotional infographics, pitches, and business plans. And we right there assess them in case of teams' abilities to work together, to collaborate, and to communicate effectively. We also apply the KTH innovation readiness methodology using indicators such as technology readiness level, business readiness level, customer readiness level, and many others. And these indicators describe the business quality of the idea and like readiness of the technology for the market entry. And at the end of our mentoring programs, there is a demo day that the most advanced teams get to it. They can then independently enter the market, or right there they can enter our incubation program after going through the whole mentoring programs. And the most frequent traits that we see in the most successful teams are, of course, like openness to collaboration and communication and openness to challenges. And especially that is not so common, I think, and in Poland especially it is not so well known, I think, like readiness for pivoting, that they can just understand that their idea is bad, but maybe the team is performs well, and maybe you should change the direction that you are going through and you can just go make some other idea by the same team, for example.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. So if you have a
May I share my thoughts regarding this?
Yeah.
Because Adam said something very interesting regarding diversity, and I wanted to refer to that because, well, technically I'm not a startup founder, but, well, I created a company 8 years ago, and I have 2 co-founders, and we do not have a CEO. We are a small council of 3 totally different people, and the only thing that is shared between us are the values. We are from totally different regions. I'm a technical guy, Przemek is a salesperson, and Karol is a psychologist from the background, and we have a different experience, but the shared values, and it allowed us to create a organization culture, which is crucial for creating a good company and for creating startup as well. And that's something very important. And Krzysztof said that that's something which they are checking on the formal level, let's say it. But in the end, the practice ends in the values that you share. And if you think in the same approach, you have the similar business ethics and goals, then it's easy to share power in the company that you are creating and go into the same direction. And because, well, some people say that, well, dividing a company when 2 founders have problems with each other is like taking a divorce, or even harder, then it's a really important thing to find a suitable co-founder and person who is great in way of your thinking. Sorry, just small interaction.
Perfect. I was about to ask you a question about some technical issues, but this answer was maybe even more relevant to the topic than actually the tools that are supporting startups. But you can relate to that as well.
Sure. So because, well, as I said, I'm a technical guy, and I rather prefer to work with computers than the people. But through the past 8 years of having company and working with different startups, different other companies, I saw that many people rely on technology on doing things. And from my perspective, always software is only a tool, like a programming language or any existing hype technology like generative AI right now, because it's very popular and everyone is trying to use it somehow. But in most case scenarios, it's just an obstacle. You have to think in a very practical way that this particular technology should help you and increase the time, not help you gaining fame that you are using AI for your product. If you want to achieve success, you have to think in a very practical way. So for that, you can use any existing technology, and you must always think about this because, for instance, using automation tools can increase your productivity. But in the end, what really matters is your work, your cooperation, and the people, not the technology itself. We are making technology not for the technology, but for people. And that's something very, very important and worth remembering.
Thank you. Thank you for that. We had a short delay in theory. We should be finishing right now and going to the lunch, but we were a little bit delayed. So I hope you will keep up with us for next 10 minutes, and we will have a second round of short questions, even though all of them probably could be a discussion for the whole panel. So, Monica, let's try to, like in a couple of words, describe how to build sustainable, engaged work culture. So you could probably talk on this for hours. We have just a couple of minutes.
I totally agree, but I can relate to what Łukasz said, that we create the culture and engagement every day. There is no simple tool or there is no simple strategy, what we can do once and it will work. We need to do it every day, and we need to learn how to do it and apply different methods or a different way of communication, because this is the most important tool we are using in communication and doing things, how we do things, how we do what we tell is the creation, the culture of engagement of the company. And what I want to say, which is maybe not very popular at the moment, that remote work is not supporting creating the culture of the company. And when we talk with many companies, this is the biggest pain for the companies, that people do not meet together. And in this case, the innovation and the exchange of the ideas, etc., is not happening. So the things which should happen in startups, the innovation culture, etc., it's not happening when people are separated in different places. Mm-hmm. So I see that it's very good. There will be a discussion, but probably it works differently for different companies. But for many companies, it is the pain, and even for the IT companies, they said we are only the talking heads from the computer, and it shouldn't be like this. But I'm interested to listen to other review of this.
Adam, you want to add something to that?
Well, yeah, this remote work thing bashing after the pandemic actually gets proven it's quite efficient. I agree with you. It depends on the sector and depends on the stage of a company. So in early stages, it should be actually a hands-on teamwork. But there is definitely phases in each startup's actually company creation life that you should be together, but sometimes there's time to get the shit done. And this is actually when you cannot meet with people constantly for value creation and drinking coffee and talking and seeing with colleagues, which for me is sometimes a waste of my time, traveling there, wasting this 50 minutes, coming back, 2 hours of my life out, which I could dedicate it to business development, and honestly. So it's something that this remote work bashing is actually backed up by real estate, and it's something which actually should be avoided. You should have a choice, and I agree with you that this tendency of avoiding meeting people is the same like the new generation avoiding of having telephone calls. So there should be actually a very genuine and healthy mix of both of that. But at the same time, you need focus time. Something what we're missing nowadays is like the talent to focus, prioritize things. And for focus, you don't need other people. You actually need silence, you need the space, you need things to get done and sorted.
Why can't we do both?
Can do both, but the tendency is like, oh, we have to come back to office 3 days a week. Why not 3? It's like, why I don't decide, maybe it's gonna be 10 days in a row, and after that I'm gonna have 15 days somewhere else when I'm gonna be focused working somewhere else.
That's the reason why we decided to go after pandemic. We decided to go totally hybrid. But we want at least this one day to drink coffee and talk with each other to build an organization culture. But the rest, sometimes you need a full focus. You don't want to distract yourself and focus on different elements. And right now, what we do, we are still hiring people because we are over 50 right now. So there's a lot of people to organize. And but we want them to be at least once a week in the office. They can waste this time on talking with each other. It's okay, because they can solve other problems, they can communicate with other people and find better way of solving problems and talk about them, and that's how creativity is happening somehow. Because after a short break and coffee, and talking about the problem in your project with your project leader, with your client, someone may give you some ideas, some inspiration how to solve problems, and you need people to do that. But still, too much communication is the problem as well. So focusing days like Friday or Monday are great for this, and that's how we solve it in our company.
That's perfect, actually. For 4 days work week and 1 day is just for not for waste, for building cultural or binding together somehow with the coffee. So we again running out of time, 5 minutes. So maybe one question that we will just share our thoughts on. I will start with Krzysztof. The question was what support methods are most effective for startups in Poland to help them succeed in the market, but we can generalize this even outside of Poland and share our thoughts around this question. So what is your perspective, and we will share ours as well.
Okay, so from my experience, like the moment when the first startup faced the most significant obstacles in its history is definitely on a pre-seed, like before the market entry. For example, in Poland, we do not have a very developed network of small investors, and it's really hard to get even small funds for the low-cost test to test your idea in a market, and not in some program on your computer or based on some market research. The second thing that is also, I think, in every country it can be applied is collaboration within universities, like creating some degrees performed by 2 universities simultaneously. It could create some personnel, especially in Poland, with diverse skills that are basically necessary for introducing the innovation to the market, and also understatement of corporation operations, because basically we have a lot of cases when people develop really great products, but they do not understand how the corporation structures work, and they cannot apply the product to the corporation structure smoothly, and it basically hinders further development of the product, and you cannot use it properly.
Anybody else perspective on effective ways how to actually tackle how they do it in Germany? Maybe something that you can share.
I tackle what Krzysztof was saying is we have a bigger network of actually early stage investors, actually business angels, which are increasing. A lot of people who've been successful in the industries and the businesses, and they are actually in the later stages of their life, but they don't want to be like retired. They still have the money. They want to invest it not just actually from the idea of a return of investment or just making profits, but actually creating some added value, creating some impact, helping young entrepreneurs, giving them mentorship, giving the advices that people were missing. This is something what has developed in Germany very well. We have like at least 170 well-developed business angels in Berlin with a portfolio of at least 20 investments, which is quite a lot. Like
just in Berlin?
Just in Berlin. We have a business angel club, Berlin-Brandenburg, has actually skyrocketed in the last 2-3 years. And they have a business angel academy, and they're just actually educating people how to become a business angel, not a bullshitter that goes around, says, oh, ho, I'm going to invest in you, and like promising, snowflakes and stuff like that. So then, of course, programs like our ones, early stage from ideation to MVP to prototyping, which are equity free and giving actually people the chance to get out of a full-time job and concentrate on the idea, use the skills, create the values, and validate the first ideas in an incubator, which gives you up to 100,000 euros.
Equity free.
Equity free.
That's public money?
That's public money, yeah.
Okay.
And the program, of course, of incubation with mentors, with access to co-working spaces, with some advisors. I don't know if I'm a good advisor, but it's like something you get out of it. And the network is there. So as I was always showing you, that is something what is good. What we're still missing in Berlin is like actually upon these incubation programs, there's some acceleration programs, and people get the seed funding, but upon the seed funding, like the actually market dive programs and pilot projects which convert prospects into proper like deals and sales. This is something what we should be still developing, which is Germany still struggling with that. And then of course like venture capitalists which are like investing more and more. We still have them much more in a developed way, but it's still a struggle for the startups. I think we have some homework to do.
Mm-hmm. I think you guys need to connect the Innovations Hub Foundation with the Berlin ecosystem so you can push the startups that come from your incubation actually to this. Unfortunately, because we should actually have them here and be able to incubate and help them, but if there is no support system like that, we just probably should do like Mateusz did as well. So push on the Western Wall, and especially you guys, you operate in Germany as well, right? You have plenty of clients.
Well, from our perspective, because as a service provider, we are working with many startups, and we see what are the problems. And I see one thing regarding to Poland is the fact that there is still missing environment, missing money, and a lot of people have ideas, but they do not know what to do with them and how to work with them. And they are leaving Poland to go to, for instance, to Berlin to do something, find people, meet someone who can help in Poland. There are not enough business angels for anyone. I know people who are becoming business angels, and more entrepreneurs are becoming business angels from different technology companies, and it's happening. But we are still a very young market, and we need more time for this, and some maturity in way of thinking. For instance, we do not have a business culture yet. Well, we have, but it's still very young, and we need time for develop this. And many people must learn that one of the biggest value that a successful entrepreneur can share is their knowledge and their experience, and it's great. And everyone who went through something interesting want to share that, and that's the biggest reason why people like to mentor anyone or share knowledge and help without any profits. Because when the money is not an issue, then you like to share experience.
This is something what I really learned as well as a Polish person abroad, actually. And it was about giving first. If I cannot make any profit out of it, it doesn't bring me anything. Don't be a so-called in Polish pies ogrodnika. Give it to somebody else who can profit out of that. He's gonna make some use. You're gonna make people happy. And this is something what builds the network, builds the ecosystem, builds the entrepreneurship mentality, and it's something what strengthens also social ties.
Mm-hmm. Sharing is caring, as they say. Unfortunately, I have this. I think that in Poland we don't have this mindset still.
We're learning. I observe a very good development in the last years from that point of view. We're learning, and it should be strengthened. Exactly.
But in the healthcare sector, it's not so easy, especially, for example, we have a good examples of hospitals that are using lean methodologies, who actually develop methodologies which help them come out of debts, etc. Unfortunately, they don't want to share because they kind of think that this, we worked so hard to do it, so why should we share it for free? Let's stop here and have a lunch, because we see that they're already cutting us.
We're done with
we're done.
We're finished. Thank you for your attention.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for this panel discussion. Thank you, and thanks for the whole 3-hour session. We had a pleasure with Adam of hosting those startups, those sessions, this keynote, this discussion show. Thanks a lot. Now we have to make some hard choices.
We have to make some hard choices to who to talk to. Thank you for your participation. We have to choose a startup, right?
I think yes, but we will need to.
Anna, do we have to
get
do
some
it
more
now?
information how to do that?
Now.
Okay.
Choose the startup now.
We should choose a startup. There is a statue, and there will be. they're waiting for his decision. Let's go.
We need
Thank you.
20 seconds.
Exactly. Thank you.